Good morning, everyone. How are you? Hi, Simran. How are you? Nirab Jo is there. Meghna, Siddharth, Karthik, Hitesh, Radhika, I see. Very good morning to everyone. Awesome. We have a question as well from Karthik. Karthik, your question is, what is the meaning of synergistic advantage? That means the advantage that you get by getting together with someone, right? If your friend is very good at table tennis and you are not so good, but you both team up to win a game of table tennis, that is synergistic advantage. Let's wait for others also to join. I see Shriram has also joined. Hey Shriram, how are you? Good morning to you as well. I think it's a lazy day, right? Not many people are awake yet. I don't see much activity. Are you guys sleepy or what? We'll complete chapter 4 today for sure in next 30-35 minutes. And then we will also jump into chapter number 5, which is business level strategy. Michael Porter ji aa jayenge apne 5 forces leke, right? The 5 forces of Michael Porter we'll study. What are those forces? How do we strategize against them? How do we win over competition? बहुत मजेदार chapter है. It's a very fun chapter. Right, with a lot of examples, with a lot of current examples से पढ़ेंगे, business के बारे में पढ़ेंगे. We'll study about what businesses historically have done, what some of the businesses like Facebook, that is Meta, or Google, or Spotify, or YouTube, or Instagram, how are they strategizing? उनके भी examples लेंगे, समझेंगे थोड़ा सा with the latest companies, though they might not be in the syllabus, though they might not be there in the book, but I'll make sure that we use the most recent and relevant examples. I'm good, Radhika. How about you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, Sriram. Thank you. Shravya has also joined. Till we wait for another 30-40 seconds for others to join. Any questions, any doubts in any concept till now? Chapter 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, half of 4, till we study till mergers. हमने growth strategy पढ़ लिया था, right? We had studied stability, we had studied growth, right? And what about growth? Maybe had a lot of subcategories in the kind of strategies we have in growth strategy. Any questions there? Anything that you want to understand? Okay, so we have a question from Karthik. Can we relate the concentric diversification with horizontal diversification? Like entering into complementary products, selling business is a horizontal as well as concentric. No, the related product is coming into our portfolio. No, you will get confused with concentric, co-generic, or horizontal integration or horizontal merger. Why is that? Is because horizontal is almost the same product line, the same level in production. While concentric is a different product, but which is related to your business, right? It is a different product but related to your business. It's not the same line or the same place of business. Mera water park hai. Okay, now think about this. I have a water park. Now I go and buy a theme park या मेरा Disneyland है, मैं Disneyland का मालिक हूँ, मैं जाके Wonderla खरीद लेता हूँ, or I want to get into what Wonderla does. I'm not even buying Wonderla. I have a theme park. I उसके अंदर मैं water slides डाल देता हूँ, right? What I'm doing is I'm doing a horizontal growth strategy की theme park में water park भी डाल देते हैं, right? But now I have a theme park और मैं theme park से एक related business खोल देता हूँ. What is related business for a theme park? Theme park के लिए related business can be anything, right? It can be the kind of costumes that are prepared. वो मैं बनाना शुरू कर दूँ. ये slides का I start building or designing slides also. That is the same line, almost the same line of business, right? It's co-generic is different or concentric is different from horizontal, where concentric is it's a different business but related, but horizontal is same strata mein. It's a confusing thing. It's a confusing thing for sure, right? The definition of the line of difference is very, very small, but you have to remember a related product will be co-generic or concentric, while the same line of business, the same kind of product line will be horizontal, right? The classic example was milk wala only. You have cow milk, you start getting into soy milk or goat milk or whatever milk that's coming in the market. Now that is horizontal. The same kind of business, but a different product, right? It's not even related. It's the same line, doodh hi hai, but related product can be something else, right? Amul is originally a milk manufacturer, and related milk products like butter, ghee, ice cream. Now it's manufacturing dark chocolates. Absolutely, absolutely, it's doing that. It's doing that. What it is doing is it is actually doing horizontal integration. It's trying to produce different products altogether. It's increasing, it's expanding, it's growing the product line. Okay, but you can also get confused with yeah, here to different product. It's not a different product. What I'll suggest is, okay, so I know it creates a lot of confusion कि यार ये different कैसे है. What I'll tell you is, just after this session, go to Google, okay, go to Google and just type these strategies and write down Indian examples, okay. Now you will have Indian company names which are doing these strategies. Usse you will be very easy to relate, okay. Do that. After this session, go and do that. That will really help you clear. I might not be able to give you like 10 examples, right? But Google can give you, right? Google will give you 10, 15 examples of each strategy, which Indian company is doing what strategy, right? Just go and type horizontal integration, Indian examples, right? Horizontal integration companies, India. Just write that on Google after the session. Don't do that right now. And you will get a lot of examples that will help you, right? That is something you want to learn something, go and type and search, right? That is what I also do. If I'm giving you a few examples, one or two examples, I've also studied on internet and then prepared for this. But I might not be able to give you 10, 15 for sure. Itna smart to nahi hai. Right? Okay. Hey, Namrata again is there. Alit is there. Shiva Shankar. How are you? Good. No problem, Anuradha. You're not so late, probably. We are about to start chapter 4. Awesome. Hey, Aita, how are you? Not an issue. Let's straight away get into the next topic in growth strategy. I'll just go back to the last slide that where we finished. We talked about the mergers, right? We talked about mergers in last class. We talked about horizontal, vertical, co-generate, conglomerate. And we know the difference between all of these now. That is what we were discussing right now as well. Now, these are the types of mergers. And in growth strategy, the last strategy within growth strategy, right, is strategic alliance. Yes, absolutely, Shiva. That is absolutely right. So we is a strategic alliance. I'll tell you that as well. Strategic alliance, the classic example I'll give you. Okay, the classic example is Tata Starbucks. Okay, the most relevant example for us in our country. The strategic alliance, the सबसे बढ़िया example is Tata Starbucks. Starbucks is not owned by Tata. Tata has not sold its business to Starbucks. Starbucks ने अपना business Tata को बेचा नहीं है. It's not a merger. It's not an acquisition. It's not a horizontal integration. It's not that. It's not a vertical integration. It's not a product development. It's not a market development. It's a strategic alliance. It is a strategic alliance. Starbucks is a US company. It wanted to come to India. They said, boss, India aane ke liye, we want a network of a reputed brand. I want to partner with a brand which has a brand loyalty, which has a brand value in India. And people recognize that brand. They have network, they have resources, they know the business, and they can help me with real estate. Right? They can help me with opening prime location pe shops or cafes. Which company should I go and get into a strategic alliance with? I don't want to sell my business. मुझे अपना धंधा बेचना नहीं है. मुझे उनके साथ मिलके I have to join hands with them. मुझे अपना बेचना नहीं है, मुझे merge नहीं होना है. I just have to work as a partner with them. And that is called strategic alliance, right? A relationship between two or more businesses that enables each to achieve strategic objectives. Now, Tata said, wonderful. There are no very specific cafe or coffee shops in India and nothing better than Starbucks. If we want to get into a new business, because we are a conglomerate, Tata is a conglomerate, unrelated dhande karta hai, right? And getting into a branded coffee shop was another dhanda for them. So what they said, boss, okay, I'm a conglomerate. I want to get into a new business. Starbucks is coming with a proposal to get into a strategic alliance with me, want to join hands with me, want to partner with me. And why not? Let's go and do this. Let's achieve like the success, or probably the biggest coffee brand we can be in a country like India with 140 plus crore people, right? Where 65% is youth, 25% is millennials from 25 to 35 who are earning money. Young people are earning money through internet, through freelance, through this, through that. Why not go and exploit that market and make money together? That is strategic alliance, right? Tata, Starbucks. What is a franchise? We'll come to that. 4 advantage of strategic alliance. Okay. Now there are 4 major advantages. Number 1 is organization. Okay. Now what happens is Starbucks knows how to create an ambience in this coffee, right? 400 रुपए की कॉफी बेचना उनको आता है. Starbucks knows how to sell a cup of coffee for 400 rupees, right? Tata has the brand value. Tata has the brand value, right? Tata will learn the business skills of Starbucks from Starbucks. Starbucks will learn the business skills of Tata from Tata. So organizational benefit. एक दूसरे से skills सीखने का मौका मिलता है. Economic, right? Reduction in cost and risk. Cost बढ़ गई. When you are a partner, Starbucks, if had come into India solely, किसी की help नहीं लेता, right? The cost would have been much higher, the risk would have been much higher. But now, because they are sharing profits, now this strategic alliance में क्या होता है? Both the companies say कि we will share profits, right? And when you're sharing profits, you are also sharing your cost, you are also sharing your risk, right? So आपकी cost कम हो जाती है, आपकी risk कम हो जाता है. And that is an economic benefit for a business who is wanting to get into strategic alliance. Number 3, strategic benefits like rivals can join together, Pepsi and Coke. आप क्या कर सकते हो? आप अपने competition के साथ strategic alliance कर दो. That's a very smart competitive strategy wherein you join hands with your competition only. अब Coke और Pepsi अगर Coke और Pepsi मिलके एक नया product निकाल दे market में, तो बाकी सारे जितने players हैं in soft drinks, they might not be able to survive that market anyway, right? So getting into a strategic alliance with your competition can also be a superb strategy for a business, right? Number 4, political. To gain entry into foreign market, right? Starbucks wants to come into India. The Indian Sarkar says, देखो, you cannot, FDI rules होते हैं, right? We have FDI rules. We have studied in BCK, we will be studying throughout our life. There are FDI rules which say that only 49% or 25% of the business can be owned by a foreign company. Now, what happens is a foreign company wanting to get into a new market like India will achieve success only through strategic alliance, right? वो कहेगी ठीक है, मैं एक Indian partner ले लेता हूँ जिसके पास 51 share रख देता हूँ for Indian business and let me get into this market and explore, right? Rather than not getting into a market, it's better I go and get only 49%, not a majority share though, but I will go and enter into that market to exploit that huge potential, right? That is your strategic alliance. Okay, I have a few questions. JioSim launched before 70 days, but beginning it offered free. Okay, but after launch, JioPhones, which is new marketing strategy. It's not a diversification, Sriram. Jio is not doing a diversity. Jio is a conglomerate, right? It's a conglomerate. Jio, in terms of Reliance, is a conglomerate. जिसमें Jio उनका telecommunication brand, right? Now the marketing strategy is chapter 5. What we're studying right now is growth or stability strategy, Sriram. You're getting confused with the marketing strategy कि product development है या cost leadership है. So Jio is actually doing a cost leadership strategy, which is chapter number 5. Okay, you're getting confused there. We'll come to that. It's not about any of these generic strategies. It is about the business marketing strategy that Jio has used, right? It's not a diversification. Cool. Zomato can be an example. Zomato is strategic alliance with whom? Zomato is a strategic alliance with whom? It's a sole company, right? It's a standalone company. उसने किसके साथ strategic alliance किया? Can a joint venture or partnership for a limited contract can be a strategic alliance? More or so, yes. So strategic alliance is a strategy. Okay. Strategic alliance is a strategy जिसके अंदर you will have joint venture and partnership, right? We studied in BCK the forms of organization. BCK chapter 1, I think we studied forms of organization which had partnership and joint venture. A partnership and joint venture is a form of organization which comes under strategic alliance strategy. Strategic alliance एक strategy है कि चलो ऐसा करते हैं, but उसको करने के लिए legal तरीका is to get into a partnership or a joint venture. Okay. PVR Inox, it's a merger, right? Already it's not a strategic alliance. PVR Inox is a merger. मिल गए हैं. Maruti Suzuki is a strategic alliance. Wonderful. Great example, Radhika. Maruti Suzuki. Maruti is Indian company, Suzuki a Japanese company. That is a strategic alliance. It's a joint venture. The strategy they're using is strategic alliance. Great example. Blinkit. Okay, so with Blinkit, Zomato has bought Blinkit, right? It's an acquisition. It's not a strategic alliance. It's an acquisition, right? Zomato has bought Blinkit. They're not strategic alliance. They have acquired. It's an acquisition. Toyota and Suzuki collaborated with the automobile sector. It is like strategic alliance. Absolutely, yes. To get into Indian markets, Toyota started manufacturing with Indian players. Honda started manufacturing with Indian players. Maruti Suzuki is a strategic alliance, right? Hero and Honda motorcycles was a strategic alliance. Absolutely. Now they are different, but Hero, Honda. Hero, Indian company, Honda, Japanese. Hero, Honda, right? That is right. That is absolutely right. Tata AIG, a lot of companies in insurance, superb examples, guys, right? इंश्योरेंस में तो बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेटेजिक अलायंस है. टाटा AIG है आपका, और बहुत सारे लॉम्बार्ड, व्हाट इज दैट, ICICI लॉम्बार्ड. So ICICI Indian Lombard is a foreign company. Tata and AIG is a UK based company, right? So all these are strategic alliance. कोई किसी को खरीद नहीं रहा है, कोई किसी को acquire नहीं कर रहा है, मिल के काम कर रहे हैं. And the foreign companies want to come into India, so they're getting into strategic alliance with Indian well-known brands, right? So that people trust them. अगर कोई बाहर से कंपनी आती है, you and me might not trust them. But if it is like Tata AIG का insurance, चलो ले लेते Tata ही है, right? So that is what they're using. That is what they're paying money to Tata for, right? Tata is like saying मेरे को share profit दो क्योंकि मेरी वजह से people will come to you. Given my brand value, people will come to you, pay money to me. I will take 40% or 50%, whatever the contract is, उतना profit तो मैं लूंगा, right? That is strategic alliance. Not necessarily, Radhika. कोई जरूरी नहीं है foreign company ही होनी चाहिए, but generally it is done. It's one of the ways for foreign companies to come into a different country like India specifically, but not necessary. Not necessary. Domestic can also be a strategic alliance, right? But this strategy is majorly used by foreign companies in India, right? But जरूरी नहीं है आप अपना इंडिया और इंडियन लोग भी strategic alliance कर सकते हैं. I'll give you an example. Like there was when you see in your cities, if there were metros being made, right? Metro बन रही है. So DMRC, which is like, I'm just giving you an example, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation. DMRC got into a strategic alliance with Shapoorji and Pallonji or Larsen and Toubro or like Tata Projects. All these are engineering companies. So they got into strategic alliance कि आओ मिलके metro बनाते हैं इस शहर की, right? Indian company है दोनों. DMRC is a government-owned company. It's getting into strategic alliance with an Indian engineering company. Indian companies भी strategic alliance कर सकती हैं. Not necessary to have a foreign company. It's not necessary to have a foreign company, but generally used by a lot of foreign companies. Okay, awesome. HDFC, Ergo, ITC Hotels and Honda Motors are indirect competitors. Shiva, the topic क्या चल रहा है? And Shiva has brought up a new topic. We'll come to that, Shiva. It's completely off topic, right? But the answer is yes, but it's completely off topic, right? Not a problem, Janisha. Let's go to the next topic. Okay. The disadvantages. अगर मजा है strategic alliance का, फायदा है, तो disadvantages भी हैं. There are some drawbacks of strategic alliance as well. What are the drawbacks of strategic alliance? Okay. Now, एक चीज है, अगर strategic alliance अच्छा चल रहा है, if your strategic alliance is successful, तो मजेदार है, तो सब अच्छा है. But the moment it is not a success, the moment it is a failure of your business does not work as expected in strategic alliance, क्या होगा? Now, your partner in strategic alliance knows your trade secrets, knows your business, right? वो जाके आप मार्केट में आपके कंपेटिटर्स को आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन बेच सकता है. They can go and exploit your business if your partnership is not nice, if your partners are not good, if your business is not successful. There is always a chance of your partners misusing your information, misusing your trade secrets. Okay, इसलिए बोलते हैं may involve trade secrets. Now what happened? Now think about this. I will give you a class. बहुत easy example है. You remember there was a restaurant called McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's की story India में क्या हुआ? So McDonald's came into India. It was there in every city. But now you see McDonald's is not in East India. South India में भी बहुत कम है. West India में भी McDonald's बहुत कम है. North India में है थोड़ा सा. There is in Maharashtra you will see something. In Madhya Pradesh एक दो जगह, like not many restaurants. East India, Kolkata side, West Bengal side, North East में तो खत्म ही होता है, right? South में भी very limited. They have McDonald's. Now what happened was McDonald's was into a strategic alliance with an Indian company. Okay. Now what happened? The companies had a rift. दोनों की लड़ाई हो गई. The partners in that strategic alliance of McDonald's and the Indian company की fight हो गई. Now McDonald's, when that happened, now a foreign company cannot like survive in India without having an Indian partner. So McDonald's had to exit some of the markets in India. But इससे क्या हुआ? The Indian companies had by now in last 15 years, they started to know कि अच्छा इसका काम होता कैसे है. How does a McDonald's kitchen work? From where do they get those patties? बन कहाँ से मंगवाते हैं? What is the process of building a burger or a pizza McPuff? Restaurant कैसे चलता है? What is the kind of training? Standardization of process कैसे है? कहाँ से सामान आएगा? कितने बजे आएगा? कैसे आएगा? कितनी quantity चाहिए? They knew everything about the business, and they started doing that. So you will see a lot of new burger chains, Burger Singh or this Singh or that Singh. Now people by now know the trade secret of these restaurants, and that is why there is so much competition right now. And that is one of the biggest disadvantages of strategic alliance कि दूसरे आदमी को आपका business की insider information मिल जाती है, right? The other business might get too much information from your business, which might not be a good sign for you in the future. And that is one of the biggest disadvantages of strategic alliance, right? Now, US companies face competition from China as they shared their trade secrets and technical know-how. US company गई China के पास and told them, boss मेरे लिए iPhone बना दो. Apple गया Foxconn के पास, which is a Taiwanese company, right? Taiwan की company है, now a lot of problem with China. But they went to that company and said, "Ki boss, मेरे लिए iPhone बना दो. This is how you have to make it. This is what the design is. This is from where the raw material will come. This is how you will cut everything. This is what the design will be, and make iPhones for me." They said, "Okay, we can do that. We have a production unit." Now they made iPhones for like 10, 12 years, and now they know how to make iPhones. Even if Apple stops the contract, Apple कहते नहीं यार मुझे आपसे नहीं समझना है, right? मेरे को आपके साथ काम नहीं करना है. Foxconn said, "No problem. I know how to make iPhones. मैं तो अपना iPhone निकालूँ, right? I can create exactly the same thing like your iPhone." Now a great question comes from Radhika. The question is, तो फिर इससे बचा कैसे जाए? How do you protect yourself from your trade secrets? And the classic or the most easy answer that you should know is patents and trademarks, right? Copyright, patents, जो हम लोग बोलते हैं intellectual property. right? You have to create patents. You have to get into non-disclosure agreements, which are NDAs. Now, a non-disclosure agreement says that if you like use my information for this purpose, it's like a 200-300 page contract. आप ये यूज करोगे, अगर आप इसलिए मेरी इंफॉर्मेशन यूज करोगे, मेरे कंपटीशन के साथ काम करोगे, you cannot compete if you compete with my competition in the next 3 years. Even if you are going and working with my competition, you cannot disclose this is information about my business. If you do, you will pay me $200 million. You will pay me $500 million. I will sue you in court and I will get money from you, right? Those kinds of contracts people get into when they get into strategic alliance. So strategic alliance में जाने से पहले people get into big contracts, patents कराते हैं कि ये मेरा है. If you use it, you will have to pay royalty to me, right? NDAs, non-disclosure agreements में जाते हैं, you cannot disclose the information. So those kinds of products, so those kinds of financial tools companies use to protect themselves from these kinds of disadvantages, right? Awesome. V is a merger. Ideally, it started as a strategic alliance, like Idea and V got into a strategic alliance, but they said, ki nahi yaar, let's merge together. So finally they merged, right? But why does McDonald's share its trade secrets with Alliance? See, there are some bad business decisions. There are some good business decisions. This was probably a bad business decision for them, right? Nobody knows why they did that, but even if they did that in good faith, or probably they were naive or they were dumb enough to share that, then that's a bad business decision for them, right? There should also be an agreement between parties not to disclose. That is Hitesh, NDA, non-disclosure agreement. That is what we are talking about. There are such contracts. Okay, awesome. We have done stability. We have done growth. Growth में हम अभी strategic alliance पढ़ रहे थे. In external growth strategies, we were discussing strategic alliance, right? Now we will go to the final one, big one, which was retrenchment. Retrenchment means business is no longer making sense. इसको बेच दो, इसको बंद कर दो. It is no longer making sense. It is making losses. It is not making profits for me. इसका मैं क्या करूं? इसको भाई बेच दो. That is retrenchment. That is retrenchment. Okay. Now there are three sub categories or three sub strategies within the retrenchment strategy. Okay. Retrenchment के अंदर भी 3 strategies है जिसको बोलते हैं turnaround, divestment and liquidation. Turnaround, divestment and liquidation. Very simple. Turnaround means अभी बुरा चल रहा है, but I will improve and get back to profitable stage, right? I am in losses right now, but कुछ ना कुछ करके, कुछ नई strategy लगा के, कुछ नया दिमाग लगा के, I'll get back to a profitable stage. That is turnaround strategy. Number 2 is divestment. Divestment means अपना छोटा सा part बेच के I will sustain myself. So अगर मेरे पास, if I have let's say 5 factories, 2 बेच दो. If my overall business is making losses, हम 2 factories बेच देते, सिर्फ 3 पे काम करते हैं. And from those 2 factories, what money I make might give me some benefit or give me some funding to run my other 3 factories, right? That is divestment. Number 3, liquidation. I have 5 factories, सबका सब बेच दो. Sell off everything, close down the business. किसी और को बेच दो, assets बेच दो. If someone is not buying your business, कोई problem नहीं, आप एक-एक करके अपने सारे assets बेच दो. Right? Sell off your factories, your trucks, your everything, your machinery, सब बेच के काम बंद कर दो. That is liquidation. Okay, so there are 3 sub strategies within retrenchment. When your businesses are not doing good, are not performing good or as expected, either you go for a turnaround, or you go for a divestment, or you go for a liquidation. Okay. Now, retrenchment. Done when an organization substantially reduces the scope of activity. काम को कम कर देते हैं, right? 3 types: turnaround, divestment, and liquidation. Okay. Now, in turnaround, the steps can be internal or external. हम लोग strategic alliance में भी जा सकते हैं, जैसे Vodafone ने किया. Vodafone Idea, how did Vodafone? So Vodafone was in losses. idea was in losses. They said कि चलो retrenchment strategy जाके turn around करते हैं. Turn around का मतलब है let's find solutions to be profitable again. And they did a strategic alliance. तो turn around strategy को पूरा करने के लिए you can do product development, product market development, और this और growth strategy, और उसमें से कुछ उठा सकते हो, conglomerate कर सकते हो, concentric कर सकते हो. You can go for a vertical or a horizontal integration, right? Now what happens is turnaround is basically you can do those, but generally we don't do that because that is costly, right? Those are very costly. So generally turnaround strategy internal होती है, external नहीं होती है, internal होती है. इंटरनल का मतलब है यू रिड्यूस योर प्रोडक्ट लाइंस, राइट? मैं 10 तरीके के साबुन बनाता हूँ. आई एम अ सोप मैन्युफैक्चरर. आई मेक अ सैंडलवुड सोप, आई मेक अ चेरी ब्लॉसम सोप, आई मेक अ क्रीम सोप. एक डव जैसा बनाता हूँ, एक हेयर फॉल का बनाता हूँ, एक हेयर ग्रोथ का बनाता हूँ, एक हेयर शाइनिंग का बनाता हूँ, राइट? आई हैव 10 सोप्स. नाउ आई सी माई बिजनेस इज मेकिंग लॉसेस. कोई ज्यादा खरीद नहीं रहा इन सोप्स को. व्हाट आई डू, आई फिगर आउट which are my top 2 selling soaps. मैं सिर्फ उन दोनों को रखूंगा, बाकी 8 को I will stop. So that is also kind of a turnaround strategy, right? I'm not selling those 8, I'm just stopping those 8 for time being. कि एक बार profitable हो जाऊंगा, then I'll start adding them back again. But coming back to the previous state of affairs, profitability पे आने के लिए, I change something internally in my business. That is turnaround strategy. Okay. Now, very quickly, turnaround strategy internal, generally internal. Okay, key indicators suggesting to apply this strategy, right? It is focused on improving internal efficiency. Internal efficiency बढ़ाने के लिए ये यूज करते हैं. Key indicators, कैसे पता चलेगा यार turnaround strategy यूज करनी है? When and how will I get to know that, boss, I have to use turnaround strategy? Number 1, mismanagement है कंपनी में. मैनेजमेंट को पता ही नहीं है क्या करना है. अगर पता भी है वो लोगों से करवा नहीं पा रहे. देयर इज मिसमैनेजमेंट. पीपल डू नॉट नो व्हाट द मिशन इज, व्हाट द विजन इज, बिजनेस डेफिनेशन क्या है, बिजनेस मॉडल क्या है. देयर इज नो क्लियर इंडिकेशन, नो क्लियर कम्युनिकेशन. पीपल डोंट नो दिस. देयर इज मिसमैनेजमेंट इन द कंपनी. तो आप टर्न अराउंड स्ट्रैटेजी यूज कर सकते हैं. डिक्लाइनिंग मार्केट शेयर. अगर आपका मार्केट शेयर डिक्लाइन हो रहा है, आपके कंपेटिटर्स आर बिकमिंग बेटर और गेनिंग मोर एडवांटेज ओवर यू, आपके कंपेटिटर्स आर गेटिंग मोर कस्टमर्स देन यू, इट इज टाइम यू कंसिडर टर्न अराउंड स्ट्रैटेजी. persistent negative cash flow. Negative cash flow means the amount of money going out of your business is more than the amount of money coming into your business. That is negative cash flow. That means आप कमा 100 रुपए रहे हो और आप खर्च 120 रुपए रहे हो लोन लेके, राइट? दैट मीन्स परसिस्टेंट, कॉन्स्टेंटली आपके साथ ये प्रॉब्लम है कि आपके पास कैश फ्लो होता ही नहीं है. persistent, continuously ऐसा है. So that means it is time to consider for turnaround strategy. Number 4, in competitiveness. That means आपका competition आपसे बहुत आगे निकल चुका है. Either in terms of product, either in terms of service, either in terms of warranty, guarantee, वो बहुत आगे आपसे निकल चुका है. It is time for you to identify how do you improve your internal efficiency. It is time for you to identify how do you improve your internal efficiency, and that is called turnaround strategy, which comes under retrenchment strategy of generic strategies or at corporate level. Okay. Ford Motors exited India, right? That is absolutely what they did was they exited India and they sold off their business altogether. Liquidation कर दिया. फोर्ड ने अपनी सारी फैक्ट्रीज वगैरह सबको बेच के चला गया. कोई फैक्ट्री टाटा ने खरीद ली, ज्यादातर फोर्ड की फैक्ट्रीज टाटा ने खरीद ली, राइट? सो व्हाट दे डिड वाज दे लिक्विडेटेड अपना पूरा एसेट्स, अपनी पूरी फैक्ट्रीज बेच के वो चले गए इंडिया से. दैट इज लिक्विडेशन, राइट? कूल. नाउ एक्शन प्लान फॉर टर्न अराउंड. 5 स्टेजेस में आप टर्न अराउंड करते हो, राइट? देयर आर 5 स्टेजेस इन टर्न अराउंड. वेरी सिंपल. Assess the current problem. Business में problem क्या है? Analyze the situation and develop a strategic plan. Okay. Identify, पहले problem ढूंढो क्या है. Then you figure out and develop a strategy around it. Then you implement an emergency action plan. Very, very likely to be asked in examination. You implement an emergency action plan. Emergency action plan is जो instant result के लिए किया जाता है, right? Now, emergency action plan is done for immediate results, right? Immediate results के लिए emergency action plan किया जाता है, which is a part of overall turnaround strategy. टर्न अराउंड स्ट्रैटेजी एक बहुत बड़ी स्ट्रैटेजी होती है जिसके अंदर फॉर शुरू के 3 महीने में इमरजेंसी एक्शन प्लान किया जाता है, राइट? कि फटाफट से ये कर लेते सो दैट और ज्यादा लॉसेस ना हो, राइट? योर कंपनी इज मेकिंग लॉसेस कंटिन्यूअसली, योर कैश फ्लो इज नेगेटिव, योर कंपटीशन इज इंक्रीजिंग वेरी फास्ट एंड यू थिंक यार टर्न अराउंड स्ट्रैटेजी करते हैं, टर्न अराउंड स्ट्रैटेजी इंटरनल एफिशिएंसी बढ़ाते हैं, कुछ करते हैं, कुछ करना है, कुछ करना है, कुछ करना है, सो दैट्स अ प्लान फॉर लेट्स से 1 ईयर. 1 साल का प्लान बनाए कि हम टर्न अराउंड कैसे करेंगे, बट इन नेक्स्ट 15 डेज, इन नेक्स्ट 30 डेज हम क्या करेंगे टू स्टेबलाइज और लॉसेस ना हो, जहां पे है वहीं पे रुक जाएं, so that you stop loss, right? You stop your losses at a given point in time. You do not go below the current situation. You stabilize and then you start growing upwards back to your normal state of business. उसको बोलते हैं emergency action plan. Number 4, restructuring the business. After you have done strategy, emergency plan ने आपको stabilize कर दिया है. The emergency plan has stabilized you, right? Now you start restructuring your business. Business model change करते हो. You change your vision. You change your mission. You change your business model. You figure out यार पैसे कैसे कमाए जाए, right? Look at Zomato. Zomato was getting into losses, huge losses. बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा खर्च कर दिया. Profit बनाना है. They had to turn around. They did a turnaround strategy. उन्होंने क्या किया? उन्होंने delivery के पैसे, business model ही change कर दिया. They now charge for delivery. They now charge for packing your food. Go to Zomato, order something. There are taxes and other charges. उसके आगे छोटा सा I बना होता है. Go and click on that information का I. वहां पे लिखा होगा delivery charges 46, packing charges 30, and then taxes. So it has started making money. So 300 rupees का order है, that becomes 460. Then they give 50 rupees off. और फिर भी आपसे 410 रुपए ले लेते हैं, right? 300 के 410 रुपए they take from you. That is how they're earning money. That is how what their business model is, and that is how they have restructured their business to now start making profits. हर time loss तो बना नहीं पाओगे, right? So that is how they're doing, and now they're returning to normalcy. Now they're becoming a normal business, which is trying to be profitable slowly and steadily. पहले 5,000 crore loss था, अब 2,000, फिर 1,000 होगा, फिर 0, break even हो जाएगा, and then they start making money. That is what their plan is, right? So this is how a turnaround strategy is. This is a classic example from Zomato. Also, you can take that what they did is they changed business model. पैसा कमाने का तरीका change कर दिया. लोगों को पता भी ना चले और हम पैसा भी कमा लें. So they added that delivery charge के अंदर packing charge 30-40 rupees extra charge कर लेते हैं वो आपसे, right? Absolutely. And they also ask for tips, right? Okay, if you like this, tip this person, right? So they did the restructuring the business. They're changing their business model to become profitable, right? That is turnaround strategy. Cool. Now action plan क्या होता है, right? Action plan कैसे हम फटाफट से कैसे होंगे, changes क्या क्या चीजें कर सकते हैं. Okay, now these are the key words. Examination में पता क्या आएगा? You will have a question in examination which says that revenue quick cost reduction. आपको keyword ये आ जाएगा. In a case scenario or in an MCQ question, you will get is that like let's say Radha is a business owner and she saw that her business is not doing very good, so she wanted to go for a retrenchment strategy, and she focused on quick cost reductions by reducing the cost of travel, by reducing the cost of marketing. उसने marketing cost cut कर दी, अपनी travel cost cut कर दी, and that was quick cost reductions for her in retrenchment strategy. Which retrenchment strategy are we talking about? Turnaround, right? These are keywords. These are keywords. The action plan. How do you turn around? What are the quick steps? What are the areas where you do turnaround, right? Changes in the top management, quick cost reduction. आपने top management change कर दिया, आपने CEO change कर दिया, आपने CFO को change कर दिया, आपने marketing head बदल दिया. because they were not giving the desired results. Revenue generation, right? You're focusing on revenue generation. आपको quality of product और ये product line कितनी है? I have 10 soaps or 15 soaps. I don't care about it. I care about making money. मेरे को पैसा बनाना है because I am not in a good position right now. Asset liquidation for generating cash, right? You are selling some assets to generate quick cash, not liquidation, not divestment. बस एक छोटी सी मशीन बेच दी, right? आपके पास like you have 100 laptops in your company and 20 laptops are not being used. आपने वो 20 लैपटॉप बेच के पैसा फटाफट acquire कर लिया और उस पैसे को आपने business में लगा दिया. That is turnaround strategy. That is not divestment or liquidation, right? Quick money generation के लिए छोटे छोटे assets बेच दिए. That is turnaround. Identifying quick payoff activities. Quick payoff किस activity से आता है उसको identify किया और वो activity करना शुरू कर दिया. That is turnaround strategy. Neutralizing external pressure. Initial credibility in building actions, right? Banks के पास जाके you're building credibility. You're taking easy loans. You're reducing your interest rate on loans. That kind of negotiations with banks is a turnaround strategy. Better internal control. लोगों को बोला यार खर्चा कम करो. You're telling your employees, you're telling your company that boss reduce costs because we are in a difficult position right now. We will have to figure out how do we reduce our costs while not losing important talent, while not reducing our quality. What are the areas we can compromise in terms of cost reduction? That are the kind of conversations you start having in your business when the business wants a turnaround strategy, right? Cool. Payoff activities, that is what I'm saying. Payoff activities like quick payoff कैसे होता है? मैंने like I'm telling you 10 soaps की जगह सिर्फ 2 पे फोकस किया. Identifying quick payoff. 8 बंद करो 2 से ज्यादा पैसा कमाओ. That is a quick payoff activity. You have to identify that. It's a quick payoff. आज से ये soaps बनाना 8 soaps बनाना सिर्फ 2 पे फोकस करेंगे. That is payoff activity, right? Is availing a loan an option in turnaround? Yes, but not at a high interest rate. ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट पे ले लोगे तो वो फिर आप उस साइकिल में फंस जाओगे. पहले ही पैसा नहीं कमा पा रहे हो, अब इंटरेस्ट भी ज्यादा बढ़ना है, राइट? सो नेगोशिएटिंग, बिल्डिंग क्रेडिबल एक्शंस, ये रहा, बिल्डिंग एक्शंस व्हिच इंक्रीज योर क्रेडिबिलिटी इन द मार्केट, वो करना इज टर्नअराउंड स्ट्रेटजी, राइट? नंबर 2, डाइवेस्टमेंट स्ट्रेटजी. सेल और लिक्विडेशन ऑफ अ पोर्शन ऑफ बिजनेस, राइट? थोड़ा सा हिस्सा बिजनेस का, 5 फैक्ट्री है 2 बेच दी, राइट? Reasons to go with divestment, okay? Reasons to go: obsolescence of product or process. आपका product is irrelevant in the market now. For example, button phones, right? अभी सबके पास टच स्क्रीन है. किसी कंपनी के पास बटन फोन वाली फैक्ट्री है, क्या करना चाहिए? क्या करना चाहिए? बेच देना चाहिए, right? If I am a manufacturer of QWERTY keyboard, मैं कीबोर्ड बनाता हूँ. I make keyboards. मेरे को बेच देना चाहिए. लैपटॉप में कीबोर्ड जुड़ के आ रहे हैं, एवरीवन इज यूजिंग लैपटॉप्स. आजकल वेरी फ्यू पीपल और वेरी फ्यू ऑफिसेज आर स्टिल यूजिंग मॉनिटर्स एंड कीबोर्ड्स एंड अ माउस. एवरीवन इज यूजिंग अ लैपटॉप जिसमें कीबोर्ड ऑलरेडी है. अगर मैं कीबोर्ड मैन्युफैक्चरर हूँ, माय प्रोडक्ट इज ऑब्सोलीट, खत्म हो चुका है. इट्स नो मोर नीडेड बाय द कस्टमर्स. आई शुड डाइवेस्ट. वो फैक्ट्री बेच के मुझे पैसे कमा लेने चाहिए, राइट? वो जो खरीदेगा वो कुछ और बना लेगा उस फैक्ट्री में. That is his or her problem, not mine. My problem is that my product is obsolete. I need to sell this particular part of my business. So I'll sell it off. Inability to cope with cutthroat competition. Competition ने आपकी वाट लगा दी, right? Or if I can say in other terms, the competition is very, very, very high. And it is nearly impossible for you to beat the competition. What do? आप एग्जिट कर जाते हो उस बिजनेस से, उस पार्ट ऑफ बिजनेस से आप एग्जिट कर जाओ बिकॉज यू नो यू कैन नॉट सक्सीड हियर. नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल, आई स्टार्ट अ बिजनेस लेट्स से ऑफ XYZ थिंग, और उसके अंदर रिलायंस आ जाता है वही सेम बिजनेस करना. गेम ओवर. आई नो रिलायंस इज गोइंग टू विन. आई नो दे हैव द रिसोर्सेज, दे हैव द नेटवर्क, दे हैव कनेक्शंस, दे हैव देयर वेल बिल्ट अप ब्रांड. मेरा सामान कोई नहीं खरीदेगा, right? So inability to cope with cutthroat competition, बेच के निकल जाओ बेटर है. इंडस्ट्री ओवर कैपेसिटी, बहुत सारे लोग वही करने लग गए, राइट? फॉर एग्जाम्पल फिनटेक, पेटीएम था पहले से, वी ओनली हैड पेटीएम, राइट? बट व्हाई विल एनीवन परचेज दैट your thing, right? Business. Because they might use that business for some other thing that they have planned. Okay. My keyboard factory, they might use that particular place or factory or machines to produce smartwatches. उनके पास पैसा है, उनके पास बिजनेस आइडिया है, कर लेंगे वो. मेरे पास नहीं है बिजनेस आइडिया, ना एक्सपर्टीज है, so I'm selling it off, right? They will buy it. Why not? Think about it. You have a plan. You don't have a plan doesn't mean people don't have a plan, right? You don't know what to do with your factory doesn't mean anyone else will also not know. People might have some plan. They want to take that risk. More the risk, more the rewards, right? Industry overcapacity. For example, पहले सिर्फ पेटीएम होती थी, गूगल पे, स्लाइस, दिस पे, Amazon पे, रेजर पे, फोन पे, इस पे, दैट पे, सब लोग घुस गए फिनटेक में. सब लोग घुस गए फिनटेक में. दिस दैट ऐप, दिस ऐप, क्रेड ले लो, ये ले लो, वो ले लो. Like PayPal है, then you have PayU, then you have what not. You have everything like 15-20 players right now in the market. It's an over capacity. अभी कोई फिनटेक आना भी चाहेगा तो कहेगा यार ऑलरेडी इतने ऑप्शंस है. द कस्टमर इज नॉट गोइंग टू डाउनलोड योर ऐप नाउ. Now, a customer has to link their fintech application to their banks. Now, we as customers are always very scared कि यार हमारे पैसा कहीं चला ना जाए, right? And if I have to link my bank account with 10 different apps, I won't do that. I won't do that. I won't be comfortable doing that, right? So it's an industry overcapacity. Now, if you are an existing player and you see कि यार बहुत ज़्यादा भीड़ हो रही है, यहाँ से निकलो. Like you are in a शादी, like you go to a marriage function. And you expect कि चलो 100-200 लोग आएंगे, but 500 लोग आ गए. And you're not even getting to eat food, right? There is food, people are enjoying food, but you're not getting that food, right? Because there is overcapacity. क्या करोगे? शादी से निकल जाओगे. Same thing happens in business. People are coming there to get profits from that market, but it's an overcapacity, and you feel कि यार बहुत भीड़ हो गई है. यहाँ वो पैसा कमाना उतना मजेदार अब नहीं रहा. It is not as lucrative as it used to be. You sell off that part of the business and you exit, right? We're talking about divestment, selling part of that business, right? Not the entire thing. Entire thing is liquidation. Failure of existing strategy. आपकी existing strategy for a particular business fail कर गई, आप तो उसको बेच के निकल जाओ, right? Absolutely. CDEL, MobiQuick, this and that, right? Is availing a loan? We have answered that. Okay, got it. Liquidation, most extreme and unattractive. Okay, ज़्यादातर businesses don't want to do that. This is the last thing a business would want to do. मान लीजिए your business is in losses. First you will try to do turnaround. कि चलो किसी तरीके से profit कमा लेते हैं, right? If that doesn't work, you do divestment. कि चलो थोड़ा part of business बेच के देखते हैं क्या होता है. And then you will go to liquidation. And then you will go to liquidation, which is closing down the business, right? It involves closing down a firm and selling its assets to a last resort, right? As a last resort to sell off everything. Dead business is worth more than alive. This strategy is followed when a dead business is worth more than alive. अगर मैं अपना पूरा बिजनेस बेचूंगा, मेरे को 100 करोड़ रुपए मिलेंगे, and मेरे को ये बिजनेस चलाने पे सिर्फ 5 करोड़ कमा पा रहा है. I'm only able to make 5 crores profit with a revenue of 80-85 crores. But अगर मैं अपने सारे assets बेच दूं आज की डेट में, तो मेरे को 100 crores मिल जाएंगे. मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? I should sell off. I sell off everything that I own. I will get 100 crores. And while using all these assets, I'm only able to make 800, 900, 80, 90 crores. I should sell off that business, right? Like Big Bazaar to Reliance, right? बेच दिया अपना पूरा business. That is right. Got it. That's a long one, Karthik. I'll have to find time to read that. I'll come to that, right? Now the final one in chapter number 4 is combination strategy. सब कुछ mix कर दो. For example लेते हैं ना. Example से समझते हैं. Definition तो आप study material में you will study anyway. Startups are the best example to understand combination strategy. Okay, startup सारी strategy use कर लेते हैं, growth भी देख लेते हैं, stability भी use कर लेते हैं, अपना retrenchment भी use कर लेते हैं, वही 6-8 महीने में, within 6-8 महीने 1 year they use all these strategies, combination बना देते हैं, right? They combine all the strategies to fight competition and to gain advantage from other growing companies to build a niche empire. Startups सब कुछ करते हैं. Okay, now another, let's take an example of Zomato again. When it started, it was trying to do growth strategy, product development, market development किया, then external गए, mergers कर रहे हैं Blinkit के साथ, right? Or some part of the business, like they bought that Cult Fit, right? Zomato bought Cult Fit, वो नई बात बनी, बेच दिया, खरीद लिया, buying and selling, divesting that business. कभी कोई business खरीदा, नहीं चला, उसको बेच दिया, right? So they're buying, doing mergers, doing acquisitions, doesn't work, divesting. पहले acquire किया, नहीं चला, उसको divest कर दिया, right? They're using acquisition, growth strategy ले रहे हैं, external growth strategy कर रहे हैं, फिर retrenchment strategy भी कर रहे हैं, growth strategy में product development, market development भी कर रहे हैं, they're doing mergers, they're doing vertical integration, horizontal integration, right? Vertical level पे जा रहे हैं, खुद की delivery fleet निकाल रहे हैं, right? They have their own delivery fleet, they have 10,000 people of their own in delivery, right? Rather than freelance people doing delivery, they have their own people as well to cut down cost, right? Now, marketing, they're spending a lot on marketing. Someone wrote that they have a wonderful marketing team, right? They are so active on social media, very funny on social media, right? So those kinds of strategies, सब कुछ कर रहा है. एक startup generally does everything, सब कुछ कर लेता है. So that is a combination strategy. Using all the growth, stability, internal growth, external growth, merger, acquisition, product development कर लिया, liquidation कर दिया, divestment भी कर दिया, कभी turnaround भी use करना पड़ रहा है. Like we talked about, they're using turnaround also. उसमें merge भी कर रहा है, acquire भी कर रहा है, Blinkit, divest भी कर रहा है कुछ parts of business model turn around भी कर रहा है, साथ में product development भी कर रहा है, product आपका penetration, market penetration भी कर रहा है, diversify भी कर रहा है अपना portfolio. It is doing every strategy, right? That is what a combination strategy is. Using all these strategies for your business is combination strategy. Absolutely, FD itself will generate 6 crores on 100 crores, right? So it's better 100 crore पैसे कमा के FD कर दो. But sir, Siddharth, you missed out one thing. 6 करोड़ के ऊपर टैक्स भी तो आ जाएगा. 2.5 करोड़ का तो आपको टैक्स ही आ जाएगा 6 करोड़ पे. आपके हाथ में तो सिर्फ 3.5 करोड़ आएंगे, राइट? You're forgetting tax. इंडिया में तो बहुत हाई टैक्स है, especially if you're making 6 crores per annum, which I wish you do and I do. Right? Okay. With that, boys and girls, our chapter number 4 is done. Okay. I'll stop here for 5 full minutes. Let's talk about your thoughts. Let's talk about any questions, anything that you want. Look at this table. Look at this table. ये सारी strategies हमने पढ़ी है corporate level पे. Anything that is still not clear, anything that you want to understand, let's spend 5 minutes to talk about it, to understand in detail if something is missed out or confusing you, and then let us jump to chapter number 5. Okay, we'll do that again. आज फिर से break नहीं लेंगे, आज जल्दी class खत्म कर देंगे. We will use the break time to get out early of the session, right? So that you also start your day. You also go out to your college or your whatever you do during the day, right? To your whatever, like you have studies to do, you have places to go, right? We'll end this session early, and we're using that break time. So we'll not take a break, but use that time to reduce the class or session time. Okay. Cool. Can we say reconstruction of business is an example of turnaround strategy? Absolutely yes. Example for turnaround strategy. Told you, Zomato ka example we took, Smita. If you're attentive, we took an example of Zomato, right? Business model change कर दिया, delivery charge लगाना शुरू कर दिया, right? Changing that strategy. Sure, Siddharth, for a CA like me, I will find ways to save tax. Probably I'll shift to Singapore or Dubai. वहाँ पे tax नहीं है, right? Probably I'll take my money, 100 crores, and that is why a lot of people are going outside India, right? India mein taxation is becoming higher, which is a pain point for, especially for people who have very high incomes. Now imagine you make 6 crores and 2.5 crores sarkar ko chala jata hai, right? Which is okay. Agar if a developing company needs money from its people only, right? If a developing country will need money, but itna thodi na, right? You have to tax everyone there. Figure out how you tax more people rather than taxing people who are doing good in life, right? Not to say money is the only metric, but it is truth, right? Mergers and acquisitions. Khushi, remember my hands on mergers and acquisitions. दो companies merge हो जाती हैं, एक कंपनी दूसरे को खरीद लेती है, that's an acquisition. Okay, remember these hands. इंटेंसिफिकेशन एंड डाइवर्सिफिकेशन स्ट्रैटेजी, ये तो बहुत ही बढ़िया है. सब कुछ आपके सामने है, आपने तो पूरा ही पूछ लिया, राइट? जो हमने पूरा सेशन 4 घंटे लगाए, आपने पूरा ही पूछ लिया. व्हाट इज इंटेंसिफिकेशन एंड डाइवर्सिफिकेशन, नीलबजो, राइट? दिस इज देयर. वी हैव डन दिस इन चैप्टर 3, नीलबजो. इफ यू आर अटेंटिव देयर. Diversification, I spent 1 full hour here. Backward integration, forward integration, going to your start making your raw material or start having your own retail shops. That is forward or backward integration. Horizontal, same business. Concentric, related business. You start doing your related business. Conglomerate, you start doing an unrelated business. That is diversification. Intensification, market penetration, market development, product, new market, new product, old market, new product, old market, or new market, old product. You remember chapter number 3 when we did this, right? That entire table, which is called what? Market penetration is getting into new market with an old product. Market development is a new market, right? And product development is a new product, okay? Right. A break strategy is a good one, right? I'm also using a strategy to save time. Raghavan, deduction is available for interest on fixed deposit for senior citizens. Do you know the limit to it? 50,000 रुपए की छूट मिलेगी सर. 6 करोड़ की बात हो रही है यहाँ पे, right, Raghavan? You get a deduction is available. We're talking about 6 crores here. We're not talking about 1 lakh. Jayesh, you can refer the session. This will be recorded, but classic example being Starbucks. Tata and Starbucks getting into partnership to make profits, right? कोई खरीद नहीं रहे, कोई बेच नहीं रहे एक दूसरे को. They're getting into partnership. So partnership is a classic example of strategic alliance. अगर कोई बिजनेस लॉस हो रहा है फिर भी उनका शेयर प्राइस हाई है, राइट? ओके, कंटिन्यू. अगर की बात क्या सर? अगर कोई बिजनेस जिसमें लॉस हो रहा है फिर भी उनका शेयर प्राइस हाई है, दैट मीन्स पीपल आर स्टिल वैल्यूइंग देम, राइट? योर शेयर प्राइस इज नॉट बेस्ड ऑन प्रॉफिट्स एंड लॉसेस, इट्स बेस्ड ऑन मार्केट सेंटिमेंट, राइट? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, you might be a very naughty or mischievous child of your parents. They still love you, right? आपका पड़ोसी आपको पसंद नहीं करता. बाकी like you might have some friends that are very notorious, that are not very well mannered, or those are very like difficult to talk to. बहुत ज़्यादा attitude है आपके दोस्तों में, right? You don't like them, but you will still see they have friends, they have family who love them. तो कोई ना कोई तो आप पसंद कर ही रहे हैं. Same happens with shares. You might be a loss-making company, but कोई ना कोई तो आपको पसंद करेगा, right? Amazon changed from book selling to e-commerce operator. That is right. It is not turnaround. It is diversification. It is not a turnaround. वो तो growth strategy है सर. Growth strategy के अंदर turnaround थोड़ी ना आता. राघवन, think from पहले पीछे जाके देखना कभी भी किसी strategy को. When you're analyzing what strategy it is, start from this box. Amazon growth expansion के लिए काम कर रहा था, right? सो रिट्रेंचमेंट, ये तीन तो हो नहीं सकते, राइट? टर्न अराउंड तो हो नहीं सकती, बिकॉज ग्रोथ के अंदर तो इंटरनल और एक्सटर्नल आता है, राइट? तो ऐसे यू हैव टू सॉल्व these questions कि what kind of a strategy that was. Start understanding from the first box. बेसिक पे जाके समझना शुरू कीजिए, राइट? All these startups are a combination, boss. मतलब all these startups are a combination. कोई भी startup उठा लो, Flipkart उठा लो, right? Take a smaller startup, any startup, and it's doing a combination strategy. Growth भी कर रहा है, stability भी पहुंचनी है, retrenchment भी कर रहा है, turn around भी कर रहा है, कुछ बेच भी रहा है, liquidate भी कर रहा है, it's growing, it's developing a market, it's doing a backward integration, it's getting into strategic alliances. नई बात बन रही, टर्न अराउंड भी कर रहे हैं, नई बात बन रही, डाइवेस्ट भी कर रहे हैं, नई बात बंद कर दी तो लिक्विडेट भी कर रहे हैं बिजनेस, सब कुछ कर रहे हैं. दैट इज every startup does that, right? So that's what I'm saying. 50,000 is the only deduction we'll get. 6 करोड़ पे 50,000 परसेंटेज भी नहीं आएगी सर. नहीं करते प्लीज, वो इतना लंबा डाउट मत भेजना, वो क्लास के बाद देखेंगे. You send these big paragraphs, इतना तो मैंने सिलेबस में नहीं पढ़ा. My PPTs are smaller than your questions, Karthik. Look at this. इतनी छोटी स्लाइड में I'm explaining things to you in 2 lines. I'm just joking. You can send that question. I'm just joking. You send that question. Absolutely. आप ही की बात कर रहे हैं. We will. After chapter 6, I think 4 हो जाएगा, 5 हो जाएगा, 6 कर लेंगे. उसके बाद I'll bring a very tough case study. I have a case study prepared. मैं बना ली है case study. But chapter 6 के बाद एक super tough case study solve करेंगे, which is very important for you from exam perspective, right? ठीक है. Let me take you to chapter number 5 now. ठीक है. Let me know if you see my screen. Whenever you see my screen, just let me know if it's visible, so that I know कि हाँ चलो बात बन गई. Got it. Let me know whenever you guys can see the screen. Okay. Radhika, no MCQs today because I am giving a lot of examples. Right. I'm trying to balance that. Some chapters are very heavy on MCQs. Some chapters I want to discuss a lot of examples क्योंकि examples से बहुत अच्छा समझ आए. That is what I believe. That is, if not, give me a feedback कि क्या change करना चाहिए. I'm always happy to receive that. Difference between merger and strategic alliance. Khushi, very simple. Merger is coming together to do a business, right? Merge कर रहे हैं, आपस में मिल रहे हैं, एक बन रहे हैं, मिलके एक बन रहे हैं, राइट? मर्जर इज दोनों मिलके एक बन रहे हैं. Now think about strategic alliance. टाटा स्टारबक्स, नाम भी टाटा स्टारबक्स अलग अलग दिखता है. हीरो होंडा, मारुति सुजुकी, टाटा AIG, ICICI Lombard. These are strategic alliances. Now if I talk about mergers, now there could be a merger. For example, they name it, let's say, Quality Walls merged with Vadilal and they started a new company which is called, let's say, Magnum. I'm just giving you an example, hypothetical, right? Quality Walls ने Vadilal का business अपने अंदर ले लिया. They merged together to create a new brand of ice creams called Magnum. That is merger. वो Quality Walls Vadilal ऐसा नहीं, strategic alliance नहीं कर रहे, वो merge करके एक नया product बनाते हैं. That is called merger. Okay. Exactly. That's an issue. Awesome. It's visible. Awesome. Now the same. Amalgamation, 2 or more companies, right? Remember we studied in that definition, amalgamation, 2 or more companies. That is amalgamation. Strategic alliance is partnership only. आपस में मिलके कुछ नया धंधा नहीं करना है, उनको कोई नया काम नहीं करना है. They're just getting into a partnership. उसको बोलते हैं strategic alliance. Amalgamation तो साथ में जुड़ के कोई नया काम कर रहे हैं. आप आ जाओ, गुप्ता जी को बुला लो, अग्रवाल जी को बुला लो, शर्मा जी को बुला लो, and bring भल्ला जी, टुगेदर सब मिलके एक नया काम करते हैं. दैट इज एक नया काम करना. किसी की भी एक्सपर्टीज नहीं है ज्यादा उसमें, राइट? और है भी तो आपस में मिलके काम कर रहे हैं, राइट? ब्रिंगिंग अ न्यू ब्रांड और अ प्रोडक्ट, दैट इज अ मर्जर एंड अमैलगमेशन. स्ट्रेटेजिक अलायंसेस, आप अपने स्किल्स मुझे बताना, आपकी स्किल्स मैं यूज करता हूं और हम दोनों मिलके सामने फेस पे दिखता है, इट्स अ पार्टनरशिप. इट इज विजिबल ऑन द फेस ऑफ इट दैट इट्स अ पार्टनरशिप. We are not one. We are not one. Tata doesn't say कि Starbucks and Tata is one. No, they say it's Tata Starbucks and you go to a Starbucks. Okay, now you go to a Starbucks. Starbucks के बाहर लिखा होता है Tata Starbucks, a Tata and Starbucks alliance. Okay, it's written clearly. Starbucks के जो shops होती हैं, जो coffee shops हैं, it is written there. A Tata and Starbucks alliance. They have written it, right? That is how you identify कि अच्छा ये partnership है. ये दोनों मिले नहीं है. It's just a partnership for coffee business in India, right? Nilabjo, when I bring that case study, I have all these doubts. आपके joint venture, strategic alliance कैसे अलग है, या co-generic is different from horizontal, कैसे confusion हो रहा है. Keep those confusions with you, right? I'll give two solutions. Number one, I told, go and type every strategy and write Indian company. Google पे जाके read the names and you will start relating कि कौन सी company ने कौन सी strategy की है. Number one. Number two, wait for us to complete chapter 6. And after chapter 6, I will bring a case study that will help you. वो case study पढ़ के समझ आएगा, अच्छा ये strategic alliance है, ये joint venture है, अच्छा तो दिस इज को जेनरिक, दिस इज नॉट हॉरिजॉन्टल. वो केस स्टडी पढ़ के आपको समझ आता है, राइट? सो पॉज योरसेल्फ टिल दैट टाइम, और इफ यू आर वेरी एक्साइटेड, प्रोबेबली यू शुड बी, गो एंड रीड आफ्टर दिस सेशन. गूगल 10-15 मिनट लगेंगे. जस्ट टाइप दी स्ट्रेटेजीज एंड टाइप इंडियन कंपनीज और अमेरिकन कंपनीज, व्हाटएवर is more relevant to you, right? And figure out what strategy they're using. It helps to understand the strategy better. Okay, do that. Cool. Let's go to chapter number 5, boys and girls. अपना हमने पढ़ लिया भैया कॉर्पोरेट लेवल स्ट्रैटेजी. सबसे टॉप पे कॉर्पोरेट, उसके नीचे बिजनेस लेवल, उसके नीचे फंक्शनल लेवल. करेक्ट? वी ऑल अग्री दिस? वी ऑल अग्री. सबसे ऊपर कॉर्पोरेट हमने पढ़ लिया. अब हम पढ़ेंगे बिजनेस, विच इज चैप्टर नंबर 5, एंड वी विल स्टडी अबाउट फंक्शनल स्ट्रैटेजीज इन चैप्टर नंबर 6. 6 चैप्टर में हम पढ़ेंगे फंक्शनल स्ट्रैटेजीज. अभी हम पढ़ने जा रहे हैं बिजनेस लेवल स्ट्रैटेजीज. ओके, इसमें क्या सब पढ़ेंगे? इसमें हम क्या सब पढ़ेंगे? वी विल स्टडी अबाउट पोर्टर, माइकल पोर्टर्स 5 forces of competition. Then we will talk about 2 major strategies, Michael Porter की strategies and the latest strategy that a lot of companies in the world are using. Michael Porter हमको competition से fight करने की. The strategies at business level are used to fight competition. The strategies at business level are used to fight competition. Okay. And Michael Porter जी जिन्होंने 5 forces of competition दिया है, he has told you कि भाई competition की 5 ताकतें हैं. 5 ताकतें हैं competition की जिसका आपको ध्यान रखना है. There are 5 forces of competition you as a business have to be very aware at all points in time. That is what Michael Porter told. Then he said कि अच्छा ये 5 forces हैं, but इनको tackle कैसे करोगे? How will you fight these 5 forces? How will you find a solution or a strategy around these 5 forces? उसके लिए उन्होंने 3 strategies दी. He gave 3 strategies. The 3 strategies were cost leadership strategy, Jio का example that you were giving, differentiation strategy, Apple iPhone, and focus strategy. Focus strategy is focused on particular 2 things. Focus के अंदर भी 2 चीज पढ़ेंगे वैसे हम, focused cost leadership and focused differentiation. Okay, इसमें भी cost leadership आएगा और इसमें भी differentiation आएगा. So we will study about cost leadership, we will study about differentiation, and we will study about focused strategy, जिसके अंदर फिर से दो चीजें हैं, focused cost leadership and focused differentiation, right? Let us quickly get into this chapter, business level strategies, which is trying to solve one question: what are the forces of competition and how do I fight them? Okay, these strategies are going to answer the questions: what is or how to identify competition, and how to strategize to win over that competition. Okay, that is what this chapter, business level strategies, is going to talk about. Cool. Michael Porter ji jo the, he said, assess the nature of competitive environment. That is very important for every business, to assess the nature of competitive environment. Okay. Got it. Now, to assess the nature of competitive environment is what you're doing. This model holds that the state of competition in an industry is a composite of competitive pressures operating in 5 major areas of the market, right? 5 major areas of the market. 5 forces हैं. There are 5 forces of competition, right? An organization attempts to adopt an approach to win that competition, right? Competition है market में, आपको जीतना है, आप attempt करते हो to adopt an approach to win over the competition, right? 5 major areas of market or 5 major areas of competition, right, is what we are going to study now. Okay, but before that, I have a question. I think after the revision, absolutely yes, you can do that. But apna case study, the next one will be tougher than your avajus. Okay. Now, before he said कि आपको 5 forces of competition I will explain. That is what Michael Porter said. But he said, let's take some assumptions before we get into an analysis. Before we get into an analysis, let us take some assumptions which are really important to understand those competitive forces. Number 1, every business operates in a competitive environment. Okay, number 1 is every business operates. कोई ऐसा business नहीं है जिसमें competition नहीं है, except monopoly like railways. But railways में भी अब competition है, right? You will see a lot of private trains are running now. There is no such business that does not operate does not have a competitive environment. Every business has a competition. Number 2, nature, mix, and intricacies of competitive forces are industry specific, right? This means every industry has a different level of competition. Education industry has very high competition per se. Food industry has very high competition. Or let's say a smartwatch or a phone manufacturing company or a smartphone has a very high competition, while some businesses do not have very high competition. Okay, like hospitals. Hospitals में competition ज़्यादा नहीं है, right? There are only 3-4 big brands, right? That too in mega cities. आपको Apollo मिलेगा, Max मिलेगा, आपको like और कौन सा मिलेगा? You will have Max or a City Hospital or an Apollo or a Fortis, right? These are big brands. What else? बाकी कोई बड़ा competition इनके पास है नहीं. So relatively, the size of competition, the strength of competition, the seriousness of competition is very industry specific, right? Some industries will have very high competition, some will have not so high competition. Okay? Plus, in healthcare, customer कोई नहीं है. You do not have to do marketing. Hospital को add करने की जरूरत नहीं होती कि अरे आओ आपको बीमारी हो तो हमारे पास आना. Customers or patients will come अपने आप ही. You do not have to go and call people कि आओ हमारा business बढ़ाओ, हमें add करो. You don't see an Alia Bhatt, you don't see a Ranbir Kapoor or you don't see a Ranveer Singh or an Amitabh Bachchan doing an ad for Apollo hospitals कि अगर आप बीमार हो तो अपोलो जाना, मैं भी अपोलो जाना. They don't do that, right? Because it's not a very competitive business. people will come to you anyway. That's necessity for them, right? Less competition. Petrol pumps are always leased. कोई own नहीं करता is what I understand, Palak. Petrol pumps, you get that on tender from the government, right? You will win a tender. So there is a lot of competition in petrol pump ऐसे. Because you have to win that tender from the government और उसके लिए तो बहुत ज़्यादा competition होता है. Okay, the basic, but in terms of how petrol pumps operate, or let's say oil companies, right? If not petrol pumps, Palak, I'll take an example from you. Oil companies, Reliance Petroleum है और आपका भारत पेट्रोलियम है और ज्यादा कोई पेट्रोलियम है नहीं. 2-3 इंडियन ऑयल है, भारत पेट्रोलियम है और आपका रिलायंस पेट्रोलियम है, और तो कोई हमको दिखता नहीं है. हिंदुस्तान पेट्रोलियम या BP भारत पेट्रोलियम, 3-4 बड़े बड़े हैं जिनके पास पेट्रोल पंप्स हैं या जो रिफाइनरीज हैं ऑयल की, राइट? So less competition there as well. The basic unit for analysis is a group of direct competitors. The basic unit of analysis is the group of direct competitors. हमारा direct competition कौन है? Competitive advantage is also industry specific. These are the 4 assumptions. Exam question है. ये exam question है. Almost every attempt you will see this question might be asked, right? What are the few assumptions? In the subjective questions you can get, Michael Porter's 5 forces model has certain assumptions about competitive analysis. Explain those assumptions in detail. You have to explain these 4 assumptions to get those 5 marks. Okay, so it's a very frequently asked question in examination. Okay, now let's get to the 5 forces. On your screen right now, you are looking at 5 forces, 5 competitive forces, 5 competitive pressures, 5 competitive things or areas of concern of every business in any industry. कोई इंडस्ट्री उठा लो, कोई भी इंडस्ट्री उठा लो, ये 5 forces of competition तो होंगी ही. Minimum these 5 forces will be there. They can be more, they can be different industry specific. वो इन्होंने assumption ले ली, वो कह रहे हैं भाई industry specific होगा आपका competition, but basic, न्यूनतम, minimum these 5 forces of or areas of concern for your competition will be there. Okay, now number 1 force of competition or area of concern for every business is nature of rivalry. Nature of rivalry. That means in terms of market maneuvering and jockeying for buyer patronage. That means nature of rivalry क्या है? क्या competition tough है? Is it tough? Is it fast paced? It is strength. It is reactive. It is proactive. It is slow. It is fast. कितना ताकतवर है? Nature of rivalry. Like we were talking about in hospitals, the nature of rivalry is relatively weak. ज़्यादा option नहीं है लोगों के पास, ज़्यादा competition नहीं है. So nature of rivalry is not fierce. Not fierce means ज़्यादा active, ज़्यादा तेज, ज़्यादा powerful नहीं है. While in smartphones, while in food product, restaurants, right? Let's talk about restaurants. Nature of rivalry in food business, it's extremely high. हर तीसरी दुकान in your locality will be a food shop. कोई मोमोज बेच रहा है, कोई समोसा बेच रहा है, कोई चिप्स बेच रहा है, कोई आलू की रिंग्स बेच रहा है, कोई पकोड़े बेच रहा है, कोई रोल बेच रहा है, right? Everyone is fighting for the customer's hunger, right? Nature of rivalry is fierce in a food business, right? That is what you have to understand as a business. कि यार मेरे को इस business में जाना है. I am a new person. I want to get into food business. I should know क्या कंपटीशन बहुत ज्यादा है या कंपटीशन कम है, राइट? कंपटीशन बहुत ज्यादा है तो मेरे को कंपटीशन को फाइट करने के लिए और ज्यादा पैसा और ज्यादा एफर्ट लगेगा. It will take a lot of money, funding and marketing to build my own market if the competition is fierce. But if the competition is not so fierce, then I might not have to spend so much money on marketing or building a brand for myself, right? Number 2, threat of new entrants in the market. अगर मैं existing player हूँ, right? I am an existing player in the market and new people are coming into that market. Example, Paytm. Paytm thought I am the Raja of online payments. Okay. Now Paytm thought I am the first one. Paytm was the first one to get into our heads, right? Paytm karo, right? Everything they did, they took everyone on phone, right? To scan karna, barcode scan करके wallet banana, and then putting that money into your wallet, using that money online to buy product, linking it with multiple websites. That is what Paytm did. But they had threat of new entrants. वो किसी को रोक नहीं पाए अपने बिजनेस में आने से. भारत पे, गूगल पे, अमेज़न पे, दिस पे, फोन पे, रेजर पे, सब लोग घुस गए in the same business. They could not stop that. It's a competitive pressure they had. It's a competitive force they had, right? Threat of new entrants in the market, you have to understand. When you're into a business, you have to understand कितना आसान है नए लोगों के लिए मेरे business में आना. How easy it is for someone to do the business that I am doing, right? Threat of new entrants. Another example, there were age-old stockbrokers, right? You remember your parents or your father or your uncle would be saying कि अरे stock broker है हमारा, वो वहाँ ऑफिस में बैठते हैं, मैं उसके पास जाता हूँ and I buy those shares and I buy those shares from them, debentures from them, उनको बोल देता हूँ, वो खरीद देते हैं मेरे लिए, वो मेरे share broker है, right? Now the advent of Zerodha, the advent of Grow, online stock broking apps, the threat of new entrants for those brokers was this digital brokerage, right? Grow आ गया, आपका Zerodha आ गया, you have other like Upstocks आ गया, right? IND money आ गया. These are threats of new entrants. आपका existing business चौपट कर दिया competition ने आके. That is a threat. You have to be aware of it so that you can strategize. वो पढ़ेंगे strategy कैसे बनानी है, वो second part है. First ये है, this is the force of competition, right? Meaning of maneuvering and jockeying for buyer patronage, right? Very cool English, right? This means maneuvering means to drive. Maneuver करते, गाड़ी को maneuver करते, okay? So maneuver means to drive and jockeying means to fight, to run quickly. कहीं भी changes आ रहे हैं, फटाफट से आप jockeying कर लेते, just change your track, okay? For buyer patronage, that means to acquire more customers. Buyer की trust लेने के लिए, buyer का patronage लेने के लिए, to like gather the trust of the customers, you have to flow through Rivalry. ज़्यादा competition है तो धीरे 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 घुसना पड़ेगा customer के दिमाग में, right? That is market maneuvering and jockeying for buyer patronage. Number 3, attempts of companies in other industries to win buyers by offering substitute products. Substitute products दे दिया उन्होंने. अच्छा, now I give you very nice example. Okay, very nice example. You remember there were times in your childhood you used to eat jam खाते थे आप, right? वो किसान की jam आती थी and you used to put that on bread, like, and you used to enjoy that. Now substitute products. Now you will see very few people eat jam, right? जैम लोगों ने खाना बंद कर दिया because substitute products आ गए market में, like peanut butter. Okay, now there is a new craze for peanut butter खा रहे हैं. Okay, so this is a substitute product for a company which is making jam. अभी किसान को भी peanut butter बनाना पड़ गया because there were new brands, there were new companies that were pushing for peanut butter is better, protein मिलेगा आपको, you will get benefits, you will get this oil, you will get omega-3, ये वो, latram, patram. They sold everything. They marketed that substitute product, right? They marketed that substitute product and your product faced a lot of competition. So jam ने बहुत ज़्यादा competition face किया because of peanut butter, which was a substitute product. Now, what is a substitute product? A substitute product, we will have that in the slide, but मैं आपको अभी explain करता हूँ. So, substitute product is a product which gives the exactly same benefit or value to the customer, but it is a different product than your product. Okay. Now, it can be a different product from your product, right? But it gives the same value proposition, same काम करता है. Customer के लिए वो same काम करता है, but वो आप वाले product से अलग है. राइट कुछ नई चीज है, कुछ अलग चीज है, नॉट इवन नई, not even new. It's a different product, but it gives the same value proposition. Use to the customer same रहता है. उसको बोलते हैं substitute product. एक और example लेते हैं, right? What happened? You remember Activa कितना बिकता है, right? There is this scooter called Honda Activa, right? It is the most sold scooter in India. Okay. Now it is a substitute product for motorcycle. Motorcycle में gear है, right? The space is less, the speeding is very high. It's a little discomfort for people who do not drive motorcycles. नीचे पैर में gear change करते रहो, ऊपर clutch दबाते रहो. It's difficult. You cannot. The seats are narrower. Now Activa ने क्या किया? Honda said कि boss, I need to create a two-wheeler which is for families. Okay, I need to create a two-wheeler which is for families. They created Activa. Activa में gear ही नहीं है, clutch ही नहीं है. It's only race, right? And the seats are wider. There is like storage facility, and it was a massive hit in the country. It is still a massive hit in the country, right? That's a substitute product to motorcycle, and that is where motorcycles faced a lot of competition. Now, a lot of middle class people bought Activas instead of motorcycles. पहले Discover एक बाइक बहुत ज़्यादा चली थी, right? Discover 500, Discover 200, that super bike they sold. But then people shifted to a substitute product called Honda Activa, right? And that is where the competition comes into picture. You have to be aware कि भैया ये नया product मेरा धंधा चौपट कर देगा, ये तो उखाड़ के फेंक देगा मेरा धंधा. So that is a competitive pressure. That is a competitive force, right? Like ID dosa, absolutely. Already ID products, ID coffee, ID is disrupting the market, right? ID that liquid coffee is superb, right? I used to stay in Bangalore. We used to drink that ID liquid coffee, like very strong, very nice. Okay. Coffee is a substitute for tea. Absolutely. Absolutely. अगर coffee कोई खरीद रहा है, the proposition is same. उसको कुछ पीना है सुबह गरम ठंडा, right? Cold coffee पीनी है या iced tea पीनी है. Iced tea की जगह cold coffee पी रहा है और चाय की जगह coffee पी रहे हैं. So it's a substitute. काम वही हो रहा है. The customer के लिए the value proposition, the usage for the customer is same, but it's a different product, is a substitute product. Gel pen and ball pen. नहीं, पेन का ऑल्टरनेटिव है लैपटॉप. ओके, सो यू स्टार्टेड टाइपिंग नाउ. पेन यूज नहीं कर रहा है कोई, सब लैपटॉप में टाइप करे, फोन में नोट्स बना रहे हो. सो इट्स फोन की नोट्स ऐप इज अ सब्स्टिट्यूट टू पेन्स, नॉट बॉल पेन एंड जेल पेन. वो तो सेम ही चीज है, राइट? ऑन रोड प्राइस गोज अप टू 90,000. ओके, सो समवन इज टेलिंग एक्टिवा बहुत महंगा हो गया. 90,000 का एक्टिवा हो गया. I thought it was like 65,000. 90,000 for Activa. Okay, that's news to me. Cool. Let's go to the next fourth competitive force, which is called supplier bargaining power. Okay, supplier bargaining power. Now, और उसका अगला है buyer bargaining power, right? These two are supplier bargaining power and buyer bargaining power. इनको समझते हैं. Now, here's a scenario for you. Okay, let me ask this question to you, and you will tell me who has a higher bargaining power. Okay, who has a higher bargaining power? Okay, now there are five suppliers. And there is only one customer. There are five suppliers and there is only one customer. Who has the higher bargaining power, buyer or suppliers? Buyers or suppliers? 5 supplier है, खरीदने वाला एक है. किसके पास bargaining power है? 5 suppliers, 1 buyer. Who has higher bargaining power? Namrata says buyer, Karthik says buyer, Hitesh says supplier, Palak says buyer. What about others? Buyer. Okay. Alfonso says buyer. Alfonso says buyer. Smita says buyer. Khushi buyer. Mohammed says buyer. Shiva says buyer. Smita says supplier. Okay. Cool. The correct answer is buyer. Because buyer has a lot of options. Now I have 5 suppliers, I'm a buyer. I go to supplier 1. The supplier says, I will give you per unit 100 rupees. You can buy your product at 100 rupees per unit from me. Supplier 2 says, you can buy it for 120. Supplier 3 says 110. Supplier 4 says 85. And supplier 5 says 95. Okay. Now I know this 85 wala ka quality is not good, 95 wale ka quality is not good, 100 wale ka quality is okay, but 110 wale ka quality is the best. Okay. Now I am the only customer. I will go to 110 wala and say, boss, I am getting offers for 95 and 100 also, same product quality. I will go and tell them same product quality, but I want to do business with you because I feel we can get into a long-term contract. Our business orientation, our business mindset matches. I want to do business with you, but I'm getting offers for 95 and 100. What is the best thing that you can do for me? The supplier might come down to 105 and I save 5 rupees per unit. So I, as a buyer, have a bargaining power, right? Reverse this situation. Reverse this situation, right? One or like 2 suppliers and 100 customers. 2 supplier hai of raw material and 100 customers to buy that raw material. Okay, let's take an example. In India, there are, I'm just taking a hypothetical example. Let's say in India, there are only 2 manufacturers of rubber. Rubber जो होता है जूते का सोल बनता है रबर का, सिर्फ 2 मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं, राइट? पूरे इंडिया में सिर्फ 2 कंपनीज वो रबर का सोल बनाती हैं. And there are like 5,000 brands in India जो कि वो जूते का सोल खरीदना चाहते हैं to prepare their shoes. Skechers, Neiman, Bata, Liberty, right? Adidas, Nike, Puma. Everyone wants to buy that sole of different quality for sure. That supplier has different quality of rubber, right? Now the supplier has a bargaining power. Puma नहीं खरीदेगा, Adidas खरीद लेगा, Adidas नहीं खरीदेगा, Nike खरीद लेगा, right? Bata नहीं खरीदेगा, Liberty खरीद लेगा, Liberty नहीं खरीदेगा, Westside खरीद लेगा. I have a lot of options as a supplier. मेरे को customers की कमी नहीं है. I am not short of customers. I have a lot of customers. So as a supplier, I am having a bargaining power. So Westside comes and says कि यार मुझे तो आप 200 rupees में दीजिए सोल. I said, boss, क्या बात कर रहे हो? बाटा को मैं 350 रुपए में बेच रहा हूँ. I'm selling the same product to Bata at 350 rupees. I will never sell you at 200. Then Liberty say, अच्छा okay, but I'll give you double the quantity. Bata आपसे 10,000 लेता है, मैं आपसे 20,000 लूँगा. So मेरे को 300 में दे दो. ऐसे ठीक है. So from a 200, you straightforward have the bargaining power to make more money from the customers, right? That is supplier and buyer bargaining power. Okay. Okay, Siddharth is telling me that on-road price is around 88. Achha, so going and googling 88,754. That's a very high number. वैसे आजकल तो iPhone भी इतने नहीं. So you decide you want to buy an iPhone 13 or a Honda Activa. Look at the irony. The phone costs equal to a scooter. Okay. Like processors of PC only Intel. Absolutely Banadi. Absolutely. Intel has a supplier bargaining power. Right? It's a supplier of microchips to all computers in the world. Bargaining power hai bhai ke paas. Right? That is right. It has a bargaining power. Cool. Let's fatafat say, right? In next 30 minutes, I'll probably leave you by 9 o'clock because we have not, and then we'll take 5-7 minutes for questions for sure. Because we have saved 15 minutes on break. So हम फटाफट class खत्म कर देंगे, right? To save time for everyone. Okay. So the 5 forces. Let us quickly. हमने समझ लिया. Just give me a yes or no. You understand these 5 forces, right? Any questions so far? Because I will go very quickly now for the next 5 slides. next 5 slides जो मैंने समझाया है, that is just there on the slide because I have to give you notes as well. Right? So these are going to be your notes, but I think you now understand all these 5 forces. Give me a yes or a no, ask questions. Let us spend 5 minutes here. Okay, let us spend 5 minutes here. Give me examples, give me your thoughts, tell me if you have not understood something or something is confusing. And because that, then I'll go very fast in the next 5 slides because I'm not पढ़ लिया है. It's all about theory जो book से I have taken on these 5 forces. Okay, if it's all clear, tell me it's all clear. I'll be really happy to know that. If you want to share some examples, you know something, you want to share everything with everyone else, I'll read it out. Probably that will also help others. You have some interesting thought or interesting example to share, that helps. Awesome. Halit says clear, Siddharth says clear, Smita has clear, okay, Karthik clear, Namrata clear. Radhika, you understand everything. I'm really happy that you guys are understanding. Any questions, think through, even before that, this chapter may anything that's pushing you or creating some confusion or something. Sure, Namrata, we can talk about assumptions as well. Nature of rivalry. Manish wants to understand nature of rivalry. Manish, super easy. Nature of rivalry, is it very fierce? बहुत ही ताकतवर है, बहुत तेजी से हमारे पास आती है, or is it slow and easy, right? Nature of rivalry. Classic example ले लो, आप बैडमिंटन खेलने गए, okay? The nature of rivalry is one of your friends बार-बार smash मारता है. You're going to play a game of badminton. One of your friends, उसको कोई भी serve करो, कोई भी long shot दो, वो smash मारता है, okay? Now there is another friend, you play with her and she plays very strategically. She'll go to left, then she'll go to right, she'll give you in front, she'll go a back foot, she'll give you close to the outside line. Strategy, easy खेलते हैं आप, right? That is the nature of rivalry. The nature of rivalry, is it fierce, बार बार smash मार के आपको परेशान कर रहे हैं, या वो strategically is questioning your creativity? Are they pushing you to be creative or are they fighting with you? That is the kind of nature of rivalry, even businesses, right? If the competition is very fierce, आएगा धंधा चौपट करा दिया, full marketing कर दी, like Jio. Airtel is doing a great business. Jio comes and says free internet, free mobile, free call, भाई सबको free, सब कुछ free. Now the nature of rivalry is very fierce for Airtel. Airtel कह रहा है boss ये क्या हो रहा है? Like I'm doing business, I'm doing good business, I'm creating good value for the customers. Customers are happy with me. एक competition आता है, सब कुछ free दे रहे हैं. The nature of rivalry is extremely hard, is extremely fierce, बहुत strong competition, right? That is nature of rivalry. Got it, Siddharth? I think I answered your question as well. Assumptions, फटाफट से, you want to see assumptions? Super simple assumptions there, Namrata. Number 1, there is no business without competition. Competition is industry specific. The aim, your focus should be on direct competition, and your competitive advantage is also industry specific, right? 4 assumptions there. That बिना competition के business नहीं होता. Your competition should be direct and it is industry specific, and your competitive advantage is also industry specific, right? Cool. I think majority of you are clear on all these concepts, right? Nature of rivalry short may we have done again. Let's go on quickly to finish these 5 forces with quick slides, okay? Got it. Number 1, rivalry amongst existing competitors, okay? Now, let's go. Nature of rivalry will define attractiveness and profitability, okay? Like Airtel or Jio ka example. Attractiveness and profitability. When Jio is entering a business, so no one else wanted to enter telecom business because they knew यार Reliance का Jio हमें मार दे. Airtel was in a difficult position because it was already there, but from someone who wanted to get into telecom as a new player, they won't. They will think कि यार ये तो मार देंगे हमको, right? So the attractiveness and profitability of an industry is defined by the nature of rivalry in the industry. The attractiveness and profitability keyword for examination highlighted for you guys. Attractiveness and profitability of an industry is defined by the nature of rivalry in the industry. The rivalry high and industry profitability is low when rivalry is high, बहुत high competition है और industry की profitability is low when an industry has no leader. सब लोग आपस में लड़ रहे हैं, कोई leader नहीं है, कोई राजा नहीं है, किसी की monopoly नहीं है. Everyone is an equal competition. बहुत तगड़ी fight चलती रहती है 24 घंटे. It's a fierce competition. No one is a leader yet. No one is a leader yet. That means there is a lot of competition and fight. That means rivalry is high, industry profitability is low. ज़्यादा profit नहीं कमा पाओगे क्योंकि competition आके हमेशा आपको challenge करेगा. Numerous competitors. बहुत सारे competitors हैं. Then also rivalry is high. Competitors operate with high fixed costs. Okay, competitors operate with high fixed costs means उन्होंने बहुत ज़्यादा investment की हुई है, right? So what they'll do is they will not let it's difficult for you to compete with them. उन्होंने बहुत ज़्यादा investment पहले करके रखी, right? For example, now a competitor with a very fixed, let's say HUL, Hindustan Unilever, is making soaps and detergent. वो detergent बनाते हैं, okay? बहुत हाई फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है, फैक्ट्रीज डली हुई हैं, ट्रक्स उन्होंने खरीदे हुए हैं, बहुत ज्यादा हाई फिक्स्ड रेंट देना पड़ता है उनको, फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है, बिजली का बिल, सैलरीज, रॉ मटेरियल, सब कुछ उनको बहुत ज्यादा कॉस्ट आ रहा है, राइट? हाई फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है. उनका लेवल मैच करने के लिए यू विल ऑल्सो हैव टू हैव दैट वॉल्यूम, यू विल ऑल्सो हैव टू हैव दैट लेवल ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट, एंड दैट इज नॉट इजी. दैट मीन्स when your competitor operates a very high fixed cost, that means the rivalry is high and an industry's profitability is low. Okay, like fintech, excellent example on numerous competitors and industry has no clear leader, like fintech industry. Okay, competitors face high exit barriers and fight for market share. Okay, जो घुसता है वो exit नहीं करना चाहता, कोई भी अपना बिजनेस बंद नहीं करना चाहता है, सब लोग बस फाइट करते रहते हैं कि यार मैं जीतूंगा, राइट? दे कीप फाइटिंग फॉर मार्केट शेयर. दैट मींस राइवलरी इज हाई, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इज लो. कोई भी निकलना, किसी को भी लॉस नहीं हो रहा है, सब मस्त पैसा कमा रहे हैं, बट कॉम्पिटिशन भी है. Competitors have little opportunity to differentiate their offerings. That means rivalry high कब होगी? Almost same product. Samsung M series, Xiaomi के Redmi phones, right? OnePlus versus Vivo का new. So it's almost the same product. कुछ अलग नहीं है. कैमरा सेम है, फोन सेम है, सॉफ्टवेयर सेम है, लुक एंड फील सेम है, प्रोसेसर इज सेम, स्पीड इज सेम, स्क्रीन इज सेम, सब कुछ सेम. कुछ आप डिफरेंशिएट कर ही नहीं पा रहे हो. यू आर नॉट एबल टू डिफरेंशिएट योर प्रोडक्ट फॉर द कस्टमर. दैट मीन्स द राइवलरी इज हाई. आप जो भी करते हो कॉम्पिटिटर भी कर लेते हैं. Whatever you do, it is quickly copied by the competitor as well. You bring something new, you do retina display, 2 महीने में पूरा फोन निकाल देते हैं रेटिना डिस्प्ले. यू डू अ फिंगर टच स्कैनर, सारे फोन्स 10,000 रुपए वाले भी फिंगर टच स्कैनर निकाल के देते हैं, राइट? राइवलरी इज हाई, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इज लो. द इंडस्ट्री फेसेस स्लो और डिमिनिश्ड ग्रोथ. दैट मीन्स स्लो ग्रोथ है, डिमिनिश्ड ग्रोथ है, तो राइवलरी बहुत हाई होगी. यार ग्रोथ स्लो है तो कौन लीडर बनेगा? ओके, द ग्रोथ इज स्लो, दैट मीन्स सबको चांस नहीं मिल रहा है. जो बड़ा प्लेयर है सिर्फ वही सस्टेन कर पाएगा, बिकॉज बाकी सबको तो निकलना पड़ जाएगा, राइट? सो दैट मीन्स rivalry to become the leader is very high, and that is why the profitability is low, right? So these are some reasons when rivalry is high, the profitability is low, right? These are the scenarios when you can identify the nature of rivalry is the Michael Porter's force, competitive force, that is in question here. So in case scenarios in MCQs, you might get questions like XYZ company is operating at a very high cost, right? What kind of, which of the following Michael Porter's forces, competitive forces, will it have an advantage of? Okay. But that's called nature of rivalry. Because I have a very high cost, that means मैं competition को आराम से मार सकता हूँ, क्योंकि मेरे पास investment मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा की हुई है, और उस आदमी को जो नया आदमी और business लेके आ रहा है, it's a gender neutral, I'm just saying आदमी can be aurat also, right? Male, female, it's a generic term. Now, it can be anyone who wants to do a business. It becomes difficult for them to do that business. So when your fixed costs are very high, then the force of competition that we're talking about is nature of rivalry. Cool. Okay. Number two, threat of new entrants. Okay. New entrants. If it is easy for new people to get into your business, that is not an attractive industry, boss. अगर कोई भी आके घुस के आपका business ले सकता है. If it is easy for anyone to come and steal your business or your market share or your customers, that means that industry, you need to be very careful. It's a highly competitive industry. You need to be very careful. Right? That is threat of new entrants. Right? New entrants place a limit on prices as well. नई कंपनी आएगी और obviously better quality या better price देगी customer को. Whenever a new company will come, it will offer a better quality or better scheme, a better deal or better price to the customer for sure. उनको तो market share develop करना है ना अभी. So they will come and give better deals than your business, and your business will face challenges then, right? So threat of new entrants becomes a very important force of competition for businesses, right? And then how to protect. अभी नए लोगों को business में आने ही ना दो. What if you have the power to not let anyone come and enter your field of business? आप क्या करो? You can create barriers to entry. Right? अब barriers to entry के दरवाजे बना दोगे. Entry करने से पहले उनको एक barrier लगा दोगे. Right? एक चेक पोस्ट बना दोगे कि इसके आगे नहीं आ सकते. Right? उनकी एंट्री पे रुकावट बना दोगे. You will create barriers of entry to new players. And how can you do that? Number one, capital requirement. In industries where large amount of capital is required, new entrants do not prefer to come. Like oil refinery. Oil refinery के लिए सीधे 5,000 crore रुपए चाहिए. To have an oil rig in the middle of the sea, like get that petroleum out, refine it into petrol, diesel, oil, this, engine oil, that oil, XYZ, 10 different products, Vaseline, सब कुछ बनाना है. ऐसा business करने के लिए the capital requirement minimum is 5,000 crores. That means that is an barrier to entry. कोई भी उठ के कल को like Agarwal Sweets के owner who makes 5 crores in an year, वो ऐसे नहीं कहेंगे चलो ऑयल रिफाइनरी खोल लेते हैं, बहुत पैसा है, हम तो बहुत अमीर है, कोठियां हैं हमारी, राइट, हमारे बहुत पैसे, हम ऑयल रिफाइनरी खोल लेते हैं. नो, दे कैन नॉट. इवन इफ यू हैव गुड अमाउंट ऑफ मनी, you cannot because of capital requirements. There is a barrier to entry. Okay. Number two, economies of scale. Economies of scale means आपकी volume इतनी ज़्यादा है. Your business has so much volume that it will take years and years for your competition to match that. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, HUL, Patanjali, right? These have volumes. एक साल में they sell 10 crore bottles of Coke. They sell like what? Like I was reading somewhere, they sell 5 crore bottles every day in the world. Look at that number. 150 crore people in India, 30 days में पूरे इंडिया को कोका-कोला पिला सकते हैं. That is what the kind of production they have. Within 1 month, they can give one Coca-Cola bottle to everyone within 30 days. इतनी बड़ी production है. It is not easy for someone new to come and match that level, right? Economies of scale. Switching cost create कर दो. Very classic example is Microsoft OS. Okay, आपका Windows का software है. Windows software is a switching cost. Abhi, if someone wants to create a new operating system for your laptops, it is very difficult for someone. So Microsoft has created a switching cost. Switching cost का मतलब है, if a customer wants to switch from your existing product to a new product, उनको तकलीफ होगी, उनको जाना ही नहीं है. आप ऐसा कुछ अपना प्रोडक्ट बना दो. You create your product in a way that your customers become so addictive to your product that if someone new comes and offers something new, the customer says, नहीं यार, आपका तो सामान हमें सीखना पड़ेगा पहले. I will have to learn to use your product and I don't have time to do that. Okay. Now, if someone brings a new kind of operating system in laptops, I think no one is going to accept it because we are so used to the OS, Windows, Excel, Word, PowerPoint. ये सब बनाने का हमें इतना आदत हो गया है that it will be difficult for us to switch to a different software altogether, right? Or people who use iOS, जो Apple iOS use करते हैं, वो Android में नहीं आना चाहते. And Android वाले don't want to go to iOS, saying कि यार पूरा नया सब कुछ सीखना पड़ेगा. It will take me 1 hour to figure out कि यार इसको mute कैसे करते हैं. और how do I change my settings in phone? Settings में सब कुछ ही अलग है. Android almost the same, but iOS में पूरा change है, बैठ के पूरा phone समझना पड़ेगा. And I don't have time for that, right? That is switching cost. And that is a barrier to entry. So someone who new wants to build a new operating system, Microsoft has already created a switching cost barrier to entry. They sit down and say, ठीक है, जाओ बेचो कस्टमर को. कस्टमर खुद ही एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा. कस्टमर को इतनी आदत है. Now, majority of us use Google Chrome. हम Windows पे हैं, हम Edge use नहीं करते. हम Internet Explorer तो बंद हो गया. We don't use Edge. We use Google Chrome, right? Most of us use Google Chrome for our work, right? और emails के लिए we use Gmail. अभी कोई कहे कि यार एक नई email सर्विस खोल देते हैं. People don't want to do that. I'm used to Gmail. मेरे को आदत है, मेरे को पता है कहाँ से send करना है. How do I delete? How do I save? How do I star mark? How do I create a label? How do I create a folder? I've learned that over the years. Now, I will not go and get into a new email service because it will take so much time for me to just learn and then get to my productive work, right? So that is switching cost. That is switching cost. Like YouTube, right? YouTube is a good example. YouTube is an online video platform, right? There is no, like, it's a switching cost. If some new app comes to give something similar to what YouTube does, you and me are so used to YouTube ka UI and how it works that it will be very difficult for us to say कि नहीं यार, चलो नई साइट पे जाके videos देखते हैं. We won't. I'm pretty sure. We are so used to. So YouTube has created a switching cost. एक नए entry participant, a new competitor wanting to enter your business might face a challenge that the customers are not very familiar or not wanting to change their perspective from the existing product. That is a switching cost. Right? Tally is a switching cost. Absolutely. Tally. People who use Tally do not want to switch to some other software. You use Edge already. Probably you are 1 in a million who's using Edge. I've never seen anyone who uses Edge. Everyone uses Google Chrome, at least what I think. It might be faster, but I think Edge has a lot of ads. So itna sara pop-up aa jata hai, it confuses you. Chrome is very neat and clean, right? And that's my perspective. Okay. Number 4, brand identity. Like brand ki identity bana do like Tata. Tata gets into any business and people trust that business. That means it has created a barrier to entry for any other business who wants to enter its business, like Tata Tea, Tata Salt, right? It has created a brand identity. Brand identity say you make difficult for new competitors to capture your existing customers, right? Existing customers को चोरी करना मुश्किल हो जाता है because you have a brand identity. Access to distribution channels, right? Lays के chips लद्दाख में जाओ मिलेंगे, सिक्किम में जाओ मिलेंगे, नागालैंड में जाओ मिलेंगे, गुजरात में जाओ मिलेंगे, राजस्थान में जाओ मिलेंगे. You go to मध्य प्रदेश मिलेंगे, महाराष्ट्र में मिलेंगे, नागपुर में मिलेंगे, नासिक में मिलेंगे. You will get it in Pune, you will get it in Bangalore, you will get it in Hyderabad, Chennai, Kanyakumari, Kochi, right? Trivandrum. कहीं भी चले जाओ, दिल्ली आ जाओ, ऊपर जम्मू, go to कश्मीर, go to उत्तराखंड. You will find the Lays chips मिलेंगे आपको, same package, same taste, everything same. This access to distribution channels. अब किसी और को अगर Lays से fight करना है तो भैया पहले तो access करके दिखाओ पूरा इंडिया, right? Get access to every shop in India. That will take at least 20 years and more than 10,000 crore rupees. Okay, so it is difficult for new players to match that level of Lays or Frito-Lay what they have done. Okay, then we have product differentiation. You make your product different. जैसे Apple iPhone. Apple ने क्या किया? Barrier to entry बना दी. अभी कोई और iOS यूज नहीं कर सकता. आप अपने एंड्रॉइड फोन में iOS डाल के दिखाओ, नहीं डाल सकते, राइट? आपको आईफोन ही लेना पड़ेगा. Product differentiation. You create something special in the eyes of customer. If you want to use iOS, आपको लगेगा यार कुछ स्पेशल है, मेरा कुछ मिस आउट हो रहा है, मुझे iOS यूज करना चाहिए, you will go and buy an iPhone. That is what they have done. Product differentiate कर दिया, created value in the eyes of the customer, right? We'll come to that. Possibility of aggressive retaliation, right? Barriers to entry क्या होता है? Whenever new people come in the market, the existing players retaliate very aggressively. For example, I'll give you one simple example. Okay, I am a new business, and you guys, all of you on the chat, have existing business in let's say what, in making bags. Okay, in, let's say in making school bags, you have existing business, and I'm a new business. मैं आया हूँ नया नया बिजनेस में, एंड द एवरेज प्राइस फॉर बैग दैट यू गाइस सेल इज 1000 rupees. I come and I start selling for 850 rupees. Okay, मैं 850 रुपए में बैग बेचना शुरू कर दिया. Now you, the existing players in the industry, retaliate. That means respond to my 850 rupees की strategy very aggressively. आप सबने 800 रुपए कर दिया अपना बैग. लो, हम एग्जिस्टिंग ब्रांड है, पीपल नो आवर ब्रांड्स, एंड हमने 200 रुपए डिस्काउंट देना शुरू कर दिया. वी आर सेलिंग एट बैग्स आर 800 रुपीज नाउ. अब बताओ क्या करोगे? एंड यू चैलेंज मी कि अब 850 का बेच रहे थे, अब 800 का बेच के दिखाओ, राइट? आई ऑल्सो डू फॉर 800. मैं 800 का बेचना शुरू कर देता हूँ. You retaliate again. You start selling for 750 because you are existing players. You have brand value. You have loyal customers. पहले से existing customers. अब मुझे डिफिकल्टी हो जाएगी. आई कैन नॉट सेल फॉर 750, मुझे लॉस हो जाएगा, राइट? सो आई एग्जिट द बिजनेस, एंड दैट इज हाउ यू क्रिएट अ बैरियर टू एंट्री by possible aggressive retaliation of existing people. Okay, now there's a question. The question is reluctance to change, right? That's simple English, Hiral. That's super simple English. Reluctance to change means change nahi hona chahte. They are reluctant. They do not want to change. Customers do not want to change. That is what we are talking about, right? Give discounts. Cool. I want to complete bargaining power and others substitutes in next session though. Let's spend 5-7 minutes that we have saved. Next 5-10 minutes. Let's spend those 5-10 minutes on question and answers. Okay. Now I will ask you quick 3-4 questions, not MCQs on the screen, just random questions from you, and I want you guys to answer that. Okay. We will do this activity right now. Cool. The activity that we're going to do is I'm going to ask you questions right now. Listen to the question very carefully and then answer. Okay. It can be from chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and even now half of 5. Okay. It can be from anywhere. Now tell me, the first question I can think of for you is, let's talk about a topic which we have studied today. Okay. Let's talk about I am a producer. Okay, I am a producer of, let's say, cotton. I'm a producer of cotton. I'm a producer of cotton, and I sell my cotton to a lot of t-shirt manufacturers. Okay, or t-shirt manufacturers. I am a cotton manufacturer. I sell my cotton to a lot of t-shirt manufacturers, and now I start making t-shirts as well. मेरे को लगा यार मैं भी t-shirt बनाना शुरू कर देता हूँ. What kind of generic strategy am I talking about? What is the generic strategy I'm talking about? What is the generic strategy I'm talking about? Okay, I have answers from Smita. What about others? I will stop sharing my screen. Let's have questions directly. Let me enjoy the limelight of full screen. Only questions I'll be asking, and then for the next 5-7 minutes, let's practice quickly. Okay. What else? We have answers. Okay, forward integration, vertical integration is also right. But within vertical, what? Growth. Khushi says growth, which is almost the right answer because I'm talking about generic strategies, right? Vertical integration, forward diversification, that is right. Now, I will explain you how you need to answer this question. Okay. If in MCQs you have option of forward integration, that is the right answer. If in options you have vertical integration, then that is the right answer. If in options you have growth strategy, that is the right answer. But if it is a subjective question, what you have to do is, if it's a subjective question, your answer should be growth strategy, vertical integration, forward vertical integration. Okay. You should always mention all the three levels, right? Because that gives a perspective to the examiner that, boss, you have not copied from somewhere, tukka nahi mara. You know this entire chain of what a strategy or corporate strategy you're talking about. Agar options hai, then you know the answer. It's growth strategy or a vertical integration or a forward vertical integration. But if you have a subjective question or a case or an MCQ with a small case MCQ or a small case subjective question, do write this entire chain: growth, vertical, forward, vertical. Okay, cool. Another question that I'm going to ask you right now. Okay, now, what is that concept we studied about where we said that we can talk about future trends and events, right? When there is unpredictability, in the environment, I will create different ideas and then analyze ki kaun sa is most likely to happen. Okay. Now, which is that concept we talked about, wherein the environment is unpredictable, both unpredictable, and I create different ideas to decide which one is most likely to happen, and then I strategize. What is that concept? If all the three options come, that will never happen. ऐसा नहीं होगा. इतना थोड़ा confuse करना है, गलत option है ना देना. Okay, we have answer from Namrata. Namrata, your answer is right though. I'll wait for others to answer. Right. Comparative analysis is an answer that I've come up with. What about others? Quickly, let's spend another 2-3 minutes on this. I don't see any answers. Why is that so? Okay, you don't remember one ready. Yes, that is the time you need to revise. That is why you have to revise. It's easy to like listen for 2 hours, but you also have to revise. You have to study the study material as well. I've only seen 2 right answers. Okay, I've only seen 2 right answers for now. Competitive strategy, competitive analysis, no. The correct answer is scenario analysis. You remember scenario analysis? When the environment is unpredictable, you create different scenarios to identify which is the most suitable to you. Scenario analysis. Okay, last question for you. Vision, mission, business definition. Vision, mission, business definition, business model, goals and objectives are a part of what? Are the elements of what? Vision, mission, business definition, business model of goals and objectives are elements of what? Are elements of what? They are elements of what? Strategic management, okay, decision making. 80% of you have given the right answer, which is strategic intent. That is strategic intent. Right? Okay, one last question. Let's do that. let's do one last question, and then probably we'll take up any questions that you have, and then we'll end. Okay. There are 3 stages in strategic management model. Okay? There are 3 stages in strategic management model. The first one is formulation, and the last one is strategy evaluation. Beach wala step kya hota hai? The first step is strategy formulation. The last step is strategy evaluation. Beach mein kya aata hai? Strategic management model mein, the previous answer was strategic intent. The question right now is, strategic management model has 3 major steps: strategy formulation, next step dash, and strategy evaluation. Beach wala step kya hai? Implementation. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Majority of you are giving the right answer. Implementation, 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 implementation. That is right. That is right. I think you know this one, right? But people were confused with scenario analysis. I saw that. People were also confused with your like growth. Internal wala bhi sahi tha. Scenario analysis, one concept you guys missed up a little. Strategic intent bhi theek tha almost sabka. And then implementation, I think almost all of you have given the right answer, right? Let's spend next 2-3 minutes on any questions or any doubts that you have. I'm saving your 15 minutes here, right? I'm saving your 15 minutes to break nahi li thi. Let's save that time for ourselves, right? Another 2-3 minutes, any questions that you have, and I also don't want to take up another concept. बहुत ज़्यादा load हो जाएगा. 4th complete किया है, 5 आधा हो गया है, right? All concepts लेंगे, you might get इतना सारा load. We'll do, not an issue. The next session, today's Thursday, will be on Sunday, 28th August. We have a session on Sunday. We have a session, so do join that. Don't miss that session. Probably I'll complete chapter 5 there. Sunday, same time, subha. 28th August, that will be 25. Yes, that will be Sunday. Yes, that will be Sunday. 28th we have. So any questions and any doubts, please shoot next 2 minutes. For all of those who are clear or have no doubts, thank you so much for joining. And it's always wonderful to talk to all of you, especially all of those who are so active on the chat. I would really like if more people come on the chat, right? Let's have, ask your questions, ask your doubts. Send something funny to me, right? Send me a joke or something. We are not studying here like a classroom. It's more about conversation. I'll just tell you what I know that might help you in examinations, right? Competitive landscape here is if you consider all your competition together, सारे competitors को एक जगह डाल दो तो वो आपका competitive landscape है, okay? All your competitors together form your competitive landscape, right? That is your competitive side. 27th को नहीं है, 28th को है राधिका. So 28th is Sunday, 28th को. Funny, my life, mine too, Karthik. My final is also very funny. I don't understand whether to laugh or to cry. Right? Cool. I think we don't have any doubts or questions. Almost all concepts are clear. I'm really happy on that. Right. Next class, I'll ask question and MCQs covering all 4 chapters. I'll try to. My focus is more on case scenarios this time, Smita. Right. MCQs to ऐसे मैं पूछ ही लेता. Right. I asked few questions. My focus is on case scenarios because last time also I saw case scenarios mein it's a huge challenge. Most of you are finding it difficult to answer that. My focus is more on case scenarios, honestly. And I will do a tough one after chapter 6 and then one after we complete this entire syllabus. I will do 2 case scenarios and maybe. So 4 case scenarios we'll practice throughout. एक हो चुका है, एक next after 6. And then 2 after we last session में revision session रखेंगे last session को completely पूरा revision with 2 case scenarios. We'll spend that time there, right? Cool. Let's save that 15 minutes of break and let's conclude the session today. Probably the technical team is also tired. We wake them up in the morning, right? All right, guys. you're facing problem presentation or answer, last session सब कुछ cover करेंगे इसमें था. Last session 2.5 hours completely on exam. कोई आंसर कैसे लिखना है, आंसर कैसे ढूंढना है, केस सिनेरियो कैसे सॉल्व करना है, सब questions. No syllabus talks, only examination talks. So last session, that is 15th September, I think. We will do that, right? 2 weeks left. So be patient on that and stay with me there. Cool, guys, let's end today's session and I'll see you on Sunday. We have a class 28th August. Do check the schedule as well. And till then, take care, everyone. Thank you. Hanji. Thank you.